Mbali Dlamini, 5 men accused of the murder of rapper Keenan Forbes and celebrity chef Tebelo Motswane are expected to appear in the Durban High Court today. Their appearance will mark the start of the trial more than 2 years after the two were shot and killed on Florida Road. In total, 7 suspects have been arrested for the crime, with 2 who are the alleged shooters charged in Eswatini. Nhlanhla Mabaso reports.
The high-profile murder case will be heard in the Durban High Court for the first time since it was certified trial-ready 3 months ago. During the previous appearance, the court dismissed new bids for bail by 2 of the accused. The alleged mastermind Mziwe Themba Gwabeni and the alleged sporter Lindoguhle Ndimande approached the court for bail on new facts. With attempts to have the 2 suspects in Eswatini brought back to the country still underway, the state says it is ready to proceed with the matter. Nhlanhla Mabaso, Eyewitness News, Durban.
The Judicial Conduct Tribunal investigating allegations of sexual harassment against Eastern Cape Judge President Selbie Mbenenge is expected to continue this morning. The tribunal will continue hearing testimony from a former official in the Judicial Service Commission, Kutlwano Moretlwe. Yesterday, Moretlwe began giving her account of the events into what transpired when High Court Secretary Andiso Mengo laid a complaint against the senior judge 3 years ago. Mengo has accused the top judge of making unwanted sexual advances towards her between 2021 and 2022. Zolega Kotashe has more.
Former JSC official Kutlwano Moretlwe's testimony has corroborated some of the evidence presented by High Court Secretary Andiso Mengo during January this year. Mengo told the Judicial Conduct Tribunal that she laid a complaint against Eastern Cape Judge President Selbie Mbenenge in 2022. However, that complaint went missing. This correlated with the submission made by Moretlwe before the tribunal.
I could not recall that the complaint was misplaced. That's why I kept referring them to go and check in my office, because I thought that there was a complaint there.
Moretlwe says it's only when she heard Mengo's submission of the lost complaint that she recalled the disappearance of the document. Zolega Kodashe, Eyewitness News.
President Cyril Ramaphosa says the highly anticipated Budget 3.0 is set to provide a fiscal framework for the reform agenda proposed in Operation Vulindlela. Ramaphosa made the comments during the launch of Phase 2 of Vulindlela at the Union Buildings yesterday. Formed at the height of COVID in 2020, the initiative aims to overcome stumbling blocks in the energy, logistics, telecoms sectors in a bid to spur economic growth and job creation. Nogukanya Mdambo reports.
The country's economy has for at least a decade struggled to hit anywhere close to what is now considered an ambitious target of 3%. This means the economy is also not creating enough jobs, doesn't inspire confidence among investors, and doesn't generate enough revenue to keep up with the country's spending demands. President Cyril Ramaphosa says the latest iteration of the budget needs to prioritize urgent reforms to address the deficiencies.
And you could say for the first time in many, many years, we are now going to be able to spend up to R1 trillion on infrastructure over the medium term. Growth is the only way to achieve fiscal sustainability and social progress in our country.
Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana will deliver a new budget in 2 weeks. Nogukanya Mdambo, Eyewitness News.
We shift our focus to this now. Joburg Mayor Dada Morero says the rotation of members of his mayoral committee between positions will not destabilize service delivery. During his State of the City address yesterday, Morero announced the decision to make these changes. He says this decision was taken because some MMCs need to be moved to portfolios which align with their individual strengths. Alfara Mushwana has more.
The City of Johannesburg's mayoral committee has seen little change since the ANC regained control from the DA in 2023. The composition of the committee has remained largely consistent through the leadership of Thapelo Ahmad, Kabelo Gwamanda and now Dada Morero. But Morero believes his cabinet could function more effectively if positions are swapped and members are assigned roles better aligned with their strengths.
That there's a need for us to strengthen certain areas of importance so that we can achieve a higher mileage and people should then see that indeed there's a turnaround in the city of Johannesburg.
But some within the ANC-led coalition have told EWN that they are skeptical that Morero's plan will yield the intended results. Their concerns are based on the view that making changes this close to next year's municipal elections might be premature. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News, Johannesburg.
And Russian President Vladimir Putin's order for a 3-day truce with the Ukraine has started. Putin unilaterally ordered the pause in fighting to coincide with Moscow's Victory Day parade on Friday. Ukraine has never agreed to this proposal and has dismissed it as theatrics and called instead for a 30-day ceasefire. US President Donald Trump has been trying to negotiate an end to the war, which has lasted more than 3 years. Gold is trading at $3,376.16 an ounce. The rand is at 18.24 to the dollar, 24.29 to the pound, 20.63 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $62.12 a barrel.
Early morning delays have dwindled down, but we're still seeing some incidents in Joburg, M1 North in Bramley Park. This is just after Colette Drive, before Grayson Drive, bumper-to-bumper collision. There's then roadworks further back on the M1 heading north, right at Glenhove Road. So pressure stretching as far back as Houghton, while in Sandton, there's an improvement as well. Just still seeing a bit of stop-and-go traffic. Winnie Mandela Drive, southbound to Bryanston from Epsom Downs. Please drive with care.
A fine Thursday in store for Gauteng today. Lows of between 6 and 9 degrees and highs of between 24 and 25. The top story in EWN this hour. 5 men accused of the murder of rapper Keenan Forbes and celebrity chef Debelo Motswane are expected to appear in the Durban High Court today.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app. Walk for something greater in the 702 Walk the Talk, hosted by Freedom Park in the city of Tshwane. Get your tickets now on primemediaplus.com.
You're with Clement Manyathela
On 702.
Let's Walk the Talk, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app,
DSTV channel 856,
92.7 and 106 FM.
Minutes after 9 o'clock. Dumelang, welcome to the Thursday edition of the Clement Manyathela Show on this 8th day of May. I hope you're well this morning. Thank you for being part of the 702 family today, and all the best with your plans vandag. We start the show with the 702 open line on 011-883-0702. That's the number you can dial on the open line this hour. The WhatsApp line is 072-702-1702. Here's a question for you. Do you know your bank charges? Do you know how much you are paying for your bank fees? And do you know what you are paying for? And I'm asking that because the Financial Sector Conduct Authority has detected significant disparities in the fees charged by different banks for the same or even relatively similar products or services. The Business Day is reporting that the FSCA has now embarked on a project to assess the transactional fee practices across registered banks to determine whether further regulatory or policy interventions are required. Thanks to the EFF that wrote to the Finance Minister Enoch Kotongwana asking if he was investigating what they said are exorbitant bank charges. And if we're being honest, there's a lack of adequate disclosure by some banks about these fees, and there's also poor understanding by us as customers. Some of us just pay. We don't know how much we're paying for our bank fees, and we don't even know what we are paying for. So if you are one of those who actually knows this is how much I pay monthly for my bank fees, there's also a few people who know what that fee goes to. Right? Like, is it going to perhaps your lounge access? Is it going towards a private banker, if that's what you're paying for? So let me know where your thinking is on that. On 011-883-0702, do you know how much your bank fees are and what you are paying for, especially on your main account? Yeah? Are you paying for a private bank? Are you paying for lounge access as part of your fee? Do you know how that fee is actually structured? WhatsApp as well on 072-702-1702. Do you remember the SAPS members who were part of the Presidential Protection Services, who acted like thugs and hooligans? Well, guess what? The SAPS has officially acquitted all 8 VIP Protection Unit officers who were filmed assaulting civilians on the N1 back in 2023. We spoke about this incident when it happened. And I don't know how this is not a final insult to the victims. And I suppose it is also a warning to you as a member of the public, as Ian Cameron actually said, that police brutality will definitely be protected behind closed doors. How do you explain letting these officers scot-free? Because the SAPS is now telling us that, we're studying this report. And this is my fear, that police are sometimes always going to protect themselves. We have seen the video. There was national outrage. There was physical trauma suffered by the victims. And yet the SAPS still says, we're clearing all of you. And that is so weird. And you cannot want to justify that, but the process has dragged and has been delayed for so long. And those are the loopholes that they're always going to use sometimes, is just delay, because they know that they can use that then as reason for letting the officer scot-free. And that is just unacceptable. I do not understand how we justify that. Remember those officers also who have been arrested and are also facing disciplinary charges for helping Tiger. Tiger is that chap who was the man who, what was that mining story, Abel, where illegal miners, Stilfontein. Remember illegal miners who were in Stilfontein were refusing to come out? It was a story we spoke a lot about last year. There's a man who was at the center of that, and his name is Tiger. That's the kingpin. The police described him as a kingpin, and yet the police helped him escape. Other people who, as soon as they came out of the mine, were arrested. Not this guy who's a kingpin. The police knew who he is, and they assisted him. He escaped. He's probably sipping on some nice cocktails somewhere on a beach, enjoying life because he was assisted by police officers. And I worry that even those officers are likely to be protected, especially if there's someone higher up who said, you have to make sure that you protect that man. And that's exactly what we seemingly are dealing with here. How do you explain that with the evidence that was there, where members of the public are assaulted like that by protectors who are behaving like hooligans and thugs, are going to escape scot-free? It just boggles my mind. What does that communicate to you? The next time you are being bulldozed and bullied by VIP protectors on the road, is there even hope for you? Right, between 10 and 11 o'clock, we're going to do our Hanging Out feature. And today we're hanging out with Dr. Pepe Marais, the founding partner and group Chief Creative Officer of Brand and Communications Group Joe Public. He's an advertising pioneer whose company has dominated the industry for so many years. And I'm sure you've seen some of their ads on Chicken Licking, the Uber Eats ads, but they've done incredible work. He's an entrepreneur, he's an author. He holds a doctoral degree in business management with a focus on organization purpose and conscious leadership. And he truly believes in creativity and its ability to affect people's lives. And I can't wait for us to get to know him better and understand his journey between 10 and 11 o'clock. And then at 11 o'clock, we are going to do our Thursday dialogue. And today we're asking who will hold the Nedbank Cup trophy. Will Pirates show its brilliance once again and retain the cup? Or will a miracle happen somehow and Kaizer Chiefs secures the Nedbank Cup victory following their disappointing season? Because, I mean, it's been a difficult trophyless decade, hasn't it been? And I know there's a ticket chaos as well, because thousands of fans are still saying we are going to flock to the Moses Mabhida Stadium on Saturday for the Nedbank Cup final, even though some of them have been told we're refunding you for your ticket. It's just become a bit messy, and I'll get the sports journalist who is talking to you at 11 o'clock to try and explain to us what's happened and how are the authorities likely to avoid chaos. Because some people, I was reading in the papers today, people have already spent 15,000 Rand on flights and accommodation, and now they're told, oh yes, we gave you a reference for your ticket, but now we are refunding you because we probably realize that we have overbooked Moses Mabhida Stadium. So that's part of the chat we're going to have at 11 o'clock on our Thursday dialogue. That's the show coming up over the next 3 hours.
Clement Manyathela, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
So, the bank charges, right, and what you are paying for, and are you even aware of how your fees are structured? I want you to give us a call on 011-883-0702. So I was looking at some of the bank charges, and you can see that, you know, there are some differences in the amounts, but sometimes the services that are being offered are almost similar. I mean, for instance, when you look at the Standard Bank, okay, let's start maybe with FNB, for instance. They have an account called Easy Zero. There are no charges there. They have an account called Easy Pay, and you know the price increases can be found on. I mean, I'm referencing now Business Tech, because what they did is when they were looking at bank charges of the different banks, they are allocating and showing you how much each account costs on a monthly basis. So, for instance, EasyPayU, R6.50. This is now FNB. Fusion Aspire for 2024-2025 financial year, it's 115 Rand. And if you have an affluent account, that's a private client, you pay about 455 Rand. Private wealth, that's about 595 Rand. So that was for FNB. But do you actually know where that 500 Rand actually goes to? Like, do you understand how that fee is structured? And do you even know what you are paying for? With Standard Bank, for instance, they also have their Prestige Evolve, for instance, where the fee was about 240 Rand. I think that was 2024-2025 financial year. Private banking, 460 Rand. And then professional banking, 280 Rand. Professional Evolve, 270 Rand. You know, access account, 7 Rand 50. So there are obviously different accounts in one bank. But do we actually know? And I know I'm one of the people, I will be surprised when I actually realize how much I pay for my bank fees, and also what I understand to be the benefits that come with that fee. Do you know that? Do you not? 011-883-0702. Your WhatsApp's on 072-702-1702. Let's start with you, Senzo, in Pretoria. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement. How are you?
Hi, Kemnat, Wena.
No, I'm very well. No, Clement. Yes, these things of banks, those guys, they take. Especially these reputable banks, they take. You know, last week, a friend of mine they didn't get their salaries on time.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know when debit orders are supposed to go through?
Yeah.
And when they go through and they find that there's no money, 50 Rand per debit order. Lapo Mundi is got maybe 5 debit orders. Calculate that, how much is it? They have to pay that. Plus, when the money comes in, now the debit orders are going to go through again, and they are going to charge again for a successful debit order.
50 Rand per debit order? That's a lot,
50
though.
50 Rand. If it fails, you get charged 50 Rand.
Hey,
so imagine how many debit you see. So, Clement, and I sometimes look at my statement. There's a service fee, there's account fee. I know, man, and this thing does not make sense. These guys are eating. These guys are eating. And these big banks, at least there's this one. This bank for almost everyone. That one is much better because they don't charge you for a bounce debit, or maybe they charge you 53 rand, 350. But the other banks, 50 rand. Clement.
Yeah, that's hectic. Yeah, Senzo. Imagine how many when you have several debit orders and 50 rand for each. Yeah, but isn't it interesting that some of us don't pay much attention to even our statements? I mean, when last did you sit down and look at your bank statement and actually look at, okay, where does this amount go to? Why did I pay this? And where does this fee go to? Hey? Zamklaka, you are calling from Alexandra. You want to talk about these police officers who have now been acquitted. Good morning.
Yes, morning, Clement. This all goes to the ethical orientation, not of a department, because when we speak about departments, we are really having this abstract animal as if it's not populated by human beings. This thing was a predetermined outcome. Don't tell me that the minister did not know what the outcome of this was, because the accounting officer in this instance, the National Police Commissioner, would have authorized who the presiding officer would be over this case. And that presiding officer was clearly given a mandate. Straight, we don't care what the findings are. I mean, the evidence is these officers are going to walk scot-free. Because here's the political association I make with this. If we condemn these police officers from a political point of view, what loyalty are we going to have from these officers as politicians whose lives and private secrets are dependent on these people? These people know some of the darkest things that we do in corners. And we have to protect them. So that was expected. And lastly, the only way we can get rid of this is to get rid of the scum that is the ANC from this country. Thank you, Clement.
Yeah, Samklaka, thank you so much for your thoughts. I remember Paul Mashatile also condemned the behavior, didn't he? I mean, yes, these are people who literally are the bone of protection for our politicians, especially our number one and number two citizens. No one is suggesting here that we need weak officers that are not going to appreciate that responsibility that they have to protect our politicians, especially the president and the deputy president, well, in this context. But surely they don't have carte blanche to do whatever they want. They must still operate within the law. They can't go and behave like hooligans. And many of us have been bullied on the roads by these guys. And that's precisely the point. They know that even though publicly they're going to be condemned, they know that they're going to receive protection from within. How are they being allowed to escape scot-free with no accountability whatsoever? We now look towards the courts, that maybe some accountability will arise from that. But this is just so disappointing. It's really shocking. And I can't wait to speak to one of the officials in the SAPS, because I'm interested to know, how do they even justify this? It's 24 after 9.
Africa Milani.
Weekday mornings,
4 to 6.
E-hailing drivers are fearing for their lives following what they call an increase in incidents of armed robberies and attacks.
I think the drastic measures have to be taken. But now let's go back to this e-hailing thing. I think they are harassing the e-hailing industry. It cannot be. They are harassing us as members of the public. Now, when I stop and give my brother a lift next to the road, they will come. They will harass me.
Yeah, and that for me, Joseph, is a massive problem.
There is no protection when it comes to us e-hailing drivers.
Sam calling us there from Century.
Africa Milani.
4 to 6 on 702.
South Africa. Get ready to feel the pulse of the Hollywood Bits Durban July. Prepare for an exciting day of high fashion, thrilling horse racing and world-class entertainment. Watch this space for an incredible artist lineup announcement as we celebrate this year's magnificent theme, Marvels of Mzansi. Be a part of the buzz. Tickets are on sale now at Ticket Pro, Spar Pays on kiosks and selected Sassel stores. See you on Saturday the 5th of July at the Hollywood Bits Greyville Racecourse for Africa's greatest horse racing and social event.
Ladies, have you ever noticed how a pink razor costs more than a blue one, even when they do the same thing? That's the gender price gap, also known as pink tax. Nedbank's Buy Men's campaign is challenging the unfair pricing women face every day and empowering you to shop smarter. If it's the same product for less, choose the men's version. It's not just saving money, it's making a statement. Join the movement. Buy smart. #BuyMens.
Some walks are just for exercise, others for leisure. But this walk is for something greater.
It's team building.
This July, you won't just take a step, you'll take a stand. You'll walk through history. You'll walk with it. On Sunday, 27 July, the 702 Walk the Talk, hosted by Freedom Park in the city of Tshwane, returns. It's a route that winds through the heart and soul of our capital city. From the sacred grounds of Freedom Park to the powerful steps of the Union buildings. Choose the 8 kilometer for those walking strong, the 6.7 kilometer in honor of Mandela Month, or the 4 kilometer for families and first-timers. Entries are 360 Rand for adults, 200 Rand for children under 12. Enter now on primemediaplus.com. 702 Walk the Talk, hosted by Freedom Park in the city of Tshwane, is where footsteps become footprints.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the Talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
27 after 9.
Good morning, Clement. Great show always. Clement, after you check your bank statement, it's how you get heart attack. So last month I was checking my bank statement. I found out that I'm paying 250 every month on a savings account. And another 80 Rand for service, that's a service fee. So yeah, the banks, they're deducting a lot. They're deducting a lot of money. So it's like every month I'm paying like 230 for my services.
Hi, Clemens. Yeah, bank charges. I used to be with this bank and I had to terminate the marriage because they were charging ridiculous amounts, and on several occasions I approached them, but they were not giving satisfactory answers. So yeah, we ended up the relationship. Yeah, while we are on that, I just needed some clarification in terms of letting someone use your bank accounts. What are the implications, especially with SARS and any other things that I might not be aware of? I know you are discussing bank charges, but I thought while we are on this, I can just pass this through you, maybe for discussion now or later. Thank you so much.
Yeah. What do you mean by someone using your bank account? So what, are they using it for transactions, or they maybe someone has used your bank account for other transactions where money is coming into your bank account but it belongs to somebody else? If you can just maybe explain that, and I can try and get someone to explain what the implications are for SARS.
Clemza, when it comes to bank fees, Clemza, I've got an easy pay as you use, 6.50 at most, including my debit orders. If it was a busy month, actually, no, not if it was a busy month. On average, I pay about 20 Rand a month in bank fees. I don't need a black card, even though they've been calling and asking me to upgrade to a blank card. I don't need one. I don't need a banker. They are useless. They don't shop for you. I don't see the purpose of having one. So I just pay 20 Rand a month and I keep my normal card without a name on it. And yeah, I do everything myself anyway. So swipes are free, online payments are free, internet banking is free. The only thing I'm getting charged for are my 3 debit orders, and that's it. And my monthly fee of 6.50 Rand. I don't need in contact messages which they charge for.
Clement, good morning. Look, I've been saying this, I'll say it again. We are having a problem of accountability. You know, when we have to hold officials accountable, that's where our problem is. And then this goes from all levels, from grassroots level up until even the president of the country. So once we can sort that thing out, I think we will have our problem resolved. Otherwise, we will continue to talk about this lack of accountability each and every day of our lives, be it at the parliament, the police, the military, the lawyers who are reaping off, claimants of RAF or anywhere else. We are still going to have this particular problem. Joseph Rosley.
Yeah, Joseph, it's really quite disappointing. I'll bring in Ian Cameron, who is the chair of the Portfolio Committee on Police in Parliament, because he's just equally outraged by this decision to acquit the VIP protection officers by the SAPS. I saw the DA as well. There are other parties that have responded to this decision by the SAPS. It's quite shocking. How do you follow all these internal SAPS disciplinary processes, and there's evidence that exists that I would imagine was used to assess this case, evidence of a video that was filmed of these officers brutally assaulting civilians on the N1 highway, and as the police, you just decide, oh, let's exonerate them. What does that say? And I think it's a broader culture of the lack of accountability within the SAPS. Remember Wally Rode, who is the head of security for the president. There were questions raised even by the public protector on how he conducted himself during the Phala Phala investigation. Do you think anything happened to him? No. They are now police officers who helped assist an illegal minor kingpin. They helped him to escape. There's a disciplinary process underway. Do you think those people are going to be held accountable? They're protecting each other. And it's quite scary coming from people who are supposed to protect us. It's 9:32. Bali, good morning.
Thanks, Clement. Good morning. Mourners have started gathering at the St. Peter Anglican Church in Rocklands in Bloemfontein ahead of the funeral of Free State Constable Boipelo Senoge. Senoge is one of 3 officers who died after the vehicle they were travelling in plunged into the Henops River in Centurion last month. Police Minister Senzo Mchunu is expected to deliver the eulogy at today's official funeral. The DA is continuing its fight against the ANC's cadre deployment policy, with the party now petitioning the Supreme Court of Appeal. The party wants to overturn the order of the Gauteng High Court, which dismissed its application for leave to appeal. Earlier this year, the court dismissed its initial application to have the cadre deployment policy declared unconstitutional. And 5 men accused of the murder of rapper Keenan Forbes and celebrity chef Tibela Motswane are expected to appear in the Durban High Court today. The appearance will mark the start of the trial more than 2 years after the two were shot and killed on Florida Road. Those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 10 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Very good morning. It's a perfect time to get roadworks in full swing. You can look out for these on the N1 South in the nation's capital, just after Atterbury Road, affecting the fast lane. More roadworks in Diepkloof, N1 North before the Diepkloof interchange, affecting the slow lane as well as the shoulder lanes. And then look out for some slow-moving traffic because of a stationary vehicle in the city of Johannesburg. N1 South at Bearsno-Deer Drive off-ramp. Slow lane affected. Traffic also being affected, so do approach with caution. And then you want to look out for traffic lights out in Midrand, K101 and Allendale Road, Edenvale, Kuruleni, N3 at Modernfontein Road in both directions, as well as Olivenhout Bosch and Tshwane, Drankensberg Road and the R55, Henops Park at Hendrickford Drive and Magmatite, as well as Menlo Park, Atterbury Road and Linwood Road. There are no pointsmen or pointswomen for now. Responsibility falls on you, the motorist, to treat those as 4 stops. Keep a safe following distance and be kind. Next traffic update will be in 30 minutes or as it happens.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
702 afternoons
with Relebogile Maboja, 1 to 3 p.m.
outside of these recent tariff policies, what are some of the things that you think we may be ignoring or not paying attention to when it comes to the effect that they have on our South African markets?
One thing I think most investors should try and not avoid is having that diversification and diversifying into different areas outside of what we think has worked in the past. Make sure you're well diversified.
The head of sales at Morningstar Investment Management South Africa, Renee Swanepoel.
702 Afternoons.
With Relebogile Maboja.
Let's walk the talk.
Hey, remember when our office turned into an indoor swimming pool from the flood incident we had?
Oh yeah, feels like it was just yesterday. Luckily, we are with My Way Business Insurance and they kept us afloat despite the soaked carpets.
Talk about an insurer that's got your back no matter the situation.
Agreed. With My Way, we can weather any storm with the ultimate confidence.
Cover your building and office contents hassle-free with MyWay Business Insurance. Visit myway.co.za for a quote and do business your way. MyWay is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's and C's apply.
Managing your workforce shouldn't be complicated. That's why businesses choose Onacy, a proudly South African cloud-based payroll and HR solution. From payroll and e-recruitment to performance management and self-service tools, we streamline the way businesses handle their people. Scalable, secure, and always online, our system evolves with your needs because your workforce deserves the best. Switch to Onacy and experience payroll and HR done right. Visit onacy.com today.
To walk the talk is to turn words into meaningful actions. And it's what we at 702 are committed to doing every day. We're also committed to following the rules set out by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission's Code of Conduct. To give you balanced programming, fair comment, and accurate news. But if we stumble along the way and you feel we're not living up to the code, let us know on comment@702.co.za. And if after that you're still not happy, you can direct your complaint in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission, PO Box 412365, Craighall 2024. For more, visit bccsa.co.za.
Weekday evenings at 6.
Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana confirming that the Financial Sector Conduct Authority is going to be looking at banking fees.
The mechanism of delivering bank services has changed to online, and then the fees should follow. But it's the legacy systems of the larger banks that's prohibiting them from bringing the cost down or the fees down.
Koki Koiman is Executive Director and Portfolio Manager at Nedbank Capital.
The Money Show
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show with Stephen Curtis is brought to you by ABSA CIB. ABSA is a proud lead sponsor of B20 South Africa 2025. ABSA is a registered FSP. Your story matters. 702, let's walk the talk.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
It's 22 minutes now before 10 o'clock. It's the 702 open line, and we're taking your calls on 011-883-0702. WhatsApp's on 072-702-1702. Part of what we're talking about this morning on the open line is about the SAPS members who were part of the Presidential Protection Services for Deputy President Paul Mashatile. They behaved like thugs on the road and went and violated and assaulted motorists. There's trauma that's been suffered by the motorists. They were arrested, they appeared in court, there was a disciplinary process, and now the SAPS has officially acquitted all 8 of them who were filmed assaulting civilians on the N1 back in 2023. And I've been asking you if this makes sense to you. Well, it doesn't make sense to me. How is this not an insult to the victims? How is this not an expression even from the SAPS that police brutality is actually acceptable for the untouchables, and the VIP protectors clearly are? How are we even going to be confident enough to report them and take them on the next time they bully us on the road? We've invited Ian Cameron, who's the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Police in Parliament, to chat to us briefly about this, and then I'm going to go back to your calls and WhatsApps. Ian, thank you so much for making time for us. Good morning.
Morning. Thanks, Clement.
I mean, let's maybe start with how you received this decision by the SAPS. What justification have they given, if any? And if they haven't yet, because we tried to get them on the show and they told us we're still studying the report, will you be asking them to come to Parliament to explain?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's no excuse from them. The acquittal already happened on the 7th of April. So it's shocking that they still need to study a report. It tells me that there's no central management or coordination of these types of serious cases. I found out about it because of the previous NGO that I was involved with, namely Action Society, that submitted a PIA application. They then forwarded me the letter that SAPS sent them showing the acquittal on the 7th of April. So I think it's a total miscarriage of justice. You can imagine what it feels like to these victims that had to testify in the disciplinary. You have to go and face these monsters every single time. And despite everything that's been shown to the public, they are acquitted of something so serious.
I mean, 7th of April, so they didn't even see it as a need to communicate to the public what that process that they had announced had now culminated into.
No, absolutely. You know what makes it worse is I followed up in my capacity as chair of the portfolio committee at least 4 times already, and every time they tell me we're still busy with the process. So despite all our follow-ups, they didn't take the statutory questions and power and oversight commitment or authority from Parliament seriously enough to at least keep us posted. So it tells me that this case didn't receive the serious attention that it was meant to receive. Interestingly enough, this specific unit, specifically Presidential Protection Services, have previously been in several controversial incidents. You remember that also Paul Mashatile's members last year, probably about December, were found to assault innocent members of the public in Kailicha. They were recently filmed driving into oncoming traffic. Several examples of wrongdoing. And the interesting part is every time the person that signs off on it is Major General Wally Roeder. And everyone knows about the Pala Pala issue, etc., etc. It seems that they are becoming a little political police force on behalf of certain political elites.
I mean, really looks like there is a culture of impunity within the SAPS. I mean, this violent conduct cannot be excused. These people are operating as a law unto themselves. What message does this then communicate to motorists who one day may want to take on these VIP protectors? Because part of what emboldened us as motorists when we saw at least the SAPS acting against these officers who were protecting Paul Mashatile and they were going to court was, next time we get bullied, and we get bullied a lot by these guys on the roads, is we can take them on. We can take a recording, and if they come and assault us and bully us, at least we know that there will be accountability. From how this has been handled, doesn't look like we have any.
This is pure defense of criminal conduct. There's no excuse for what they did. There's no justification, despite anything that those drivers or victims could have potentially done, which they didn't. I was in court as well. There's no justification for what happened there. What makes it worse, and I guess it's a good part, that at least we still have the court proceedings ahead of us. This was just a disciplinary. But what makes it worse is that unions like POPCRU and the South African Police Union, SAPU, defend these types of thugs. So it means to say that they're not there anymore to look after fair labor practices. They are there to defend criminal conduct. And this is what that was. This was blatant criminal conduct. What I said yesterday in one of the interviews was that I challenged those 8 members. Take me on legally because I call them criminals. Because what they did is blatant criminal conduct. There's no excuse for the way they conduct themselves. You know, I know 2 of the victims very well because I've built a relationship with them since it happened. And it's extremely sad to see the trauma that they've had to go through this entire process. And they feel completely neglected by the South African Police Service's poor approach to solving this issue.
Oh, my goodness. Ian Cameron, thank you so much for speaking to us. And I hope, as the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Police, you will try to get some answers and get them to explain. Because sometimes when they're hiding from us and they're running away from doing interviews with us, they think they've escaped until they have to be called by an institution like Parliament, which is constitutionally mandated to hold them accountable, and then they have to explain themselves. I hope Parliament will be able to hold them accountable. It's just shocking, the level of just impunity, lack of accountability. And these are the people who are going to be coming to your homes now as they campaign for the next local government elections and tell you, we care about you. I mean, the deputy president, when he sees that the officers that he himself condemned when they behaved in the manner that they behaved in 2023, when he sees that they've been acquitted, doesn't he also ask questions and say, but why? Why? Because there's a video that clearly shows them assaulting these civilians. And that is not how they're expected to respond to even incidences where there is a potential risk. There's a process to follow. You don't just get out of your car and start, assaulting people like that, kicking them on the face. That's the country we live in. Those are the politicians we have. And these are the people who protect them. Let's go to your WhatsApps on 072-702-1702.
Morning, Clement. Morning, listeners. I think this is shocking. And the fact that nobody is accountable for this kind of behavior just shows you the kind of environment that we are living in. It is just gangsterism on another level. And I think us, as the people of this country, need to stand up to this. One, service delivery. Not happening. No one cares. No one fixes a pothole. No one fixes the water. No one fixes the electricity. Why? No accountability and no consequence. What happens now with the police? Nothing. Stop paying rates and taxes. Let 1 million people rise up and stop paying rates and taxes and force the hand of the law to do its job.
Clement, you guys, the people of South Africa, you complaining too much. Those people are acquitted. So when you go to hearing, there are only two outcomes. It's either they find you guilty or you are acquitted. When you go to court, there are only two decisions. It's either they find you guilty or you are acquitted. So because when you, Clement, you see them as guilty, you think they must, the court should also find them guilty because you have decided that they are guilty. That's not how the law works, Clement. You have to admit to those people who are acquitted.
Clement, good morning. The biggest malaise we have in South Africa is how gullible South Africans we are. The issue with the SAPS, it goes back a long years. Just think of Andrew Raritsila. That guy was shot and killed in broad daylight. There were cameras rolling and everything. But how did the case end? Nobody was held responsible for it because nobody wanted to testify. So even with this one, with cameras glaring, when those boys were beaten up, everybody saw it. But now they are not found guilty because it's an issue of I scratch your back and you scratch mine. Like the previous caller said, they know more, these guards. That's why they'll be treated with kid gloves. Rob.
Every time we're on the radio,
We're not just talking.
We're turning words into actions.
Actions that change communities.
Actions that make a difference.
And every time you tune into 702, you're not just listening to the radio.
You're in conversation with us.
And your voice matters. You're on a journey with us, and every step we take counts.
it's these steps that not only help us grow as individuals,
But also bring us together as a society through the good times and the bad.
Every step gets us closer to the South Africa we want to be.
so
Keep walking with 702.
And let's make this a journey to remember.
702.
let's walk the talk.
Did you know it costs more to be a woman? Nedbank is on a mission to spotlight financial gender bias and want you to know that often women's products are more expensive than the same male equivalent. Armed with this knowledge, Nedbank wants to empower women financially and own their spending power. Join the conversation using the hashtag gender price gap. See money differently. Nedbank.
Dear Journal, adulting, day 3,700 and whatever. Just bought a bunch of supplements I can't pronounce to try and fix my sleep schedule. What a game changer. So chuffed I spotted them when I was doom scrolling at 11:53 p.m.
Finally learning about mental health.
Get covered at pineapple.co.za. It's convenient and like 19 Rand a day, so it's 100% the insurance for you. Underwritten by Old Mutual Alternative Risk Transfer Insurer Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP. Premiums are risk profile dependent.
Your voice,
Your station.
your open line
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
on 702.
10 minutes before 10 o'clock. Tsepo, you're calling from Tembisa. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm all right, thanks. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not okay with the verdict that came out because in this case, it's not hearsay. The evidence was there. Everybody saw it. Even the judge, even the prosecutor. So I feel like in South Africa, if you have a fancy lawyer, if you have money, then you can get away with anything. Look what's happening with our most of our leaders, high-profile people. Where are their cases going? Nowhere. Whereby there's evidence which is there. But no, just because people can pay expensive lawyers, they can afford to pull strings there and there, then they get away with everything. So in South Africa, everything is going downhill. Instead of the country becoming better, everything is going downhill.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me a tap.
Hi, Clement. Quick one. On these VIP protection officers, the last time I checked, there was a court case that was happening against them. Has that been concluded? Because my question then is, what happens if they are convicted in the court case? Then they will have a criminal record. And shouldn't this, is it not too premature for the SAPS basically to kind of like, acquit them? Shouldn't they not rather wait for the outcome of the court application, and that would then hopefully influence the internal disciplinary processes? Because I wouldn't foresee a situation where the SAPS would want to still have them in the employ, these guys, if they now have a criminal record. Thanks.
Yeah, look, I mean, the court process is still unfolding, so we still wait to see what the outcome of that will be. But yeah, if the court comes out and there's some accountability on that front, the SAPS will be left with egg on their face. But either way, there has to be two processes that unfold, even in this case concurrently, because these are employees of the SAPS. So yes, there's a legal process that's underway, but the SAPS also has its regulations and how it disciplines its own employees if there are charges that they're facing. So this process also had to be undertaken. The question is, will the courts sort of come up with an outcome that is aligned to this outcome of the disciplinary hearing, or is the court going to rule differently on this? I'm just worried that this promotes this culture of accountability. It promotes violent behavior on the part of VIP protectors. Already we see how they behave on the roads. And we're not saying here that they must be weak, because they are protecting important people whose security risk is quite high. But they even know what the law says about their behavior, even in instances where there's risk that is detected. I mean, even during war, guys, there are rules of war. So even as a VIP protector, as a security officer, even when you detect risk, there are actually guidelines on how you should be responding to situations.
Hi, Clement. I hear about those police guys whom the SAPS, the report is saying were left scot-free. But my question is, isn't that case in court? Because I was thinking the courts are the right people to adjudicate on such matters, not the SAPS. I'm confused. Please explain for me more if indeed I'm confused, because I think I am confused. I think it was supposed to be a court of law who would do that, not the SAPS. Thank you, Jabuchula Nim.
Very good morning, Mr. Manyathela and the 702 landers. Regarding the issue of Paul Mashatile's bodyguards, all that I have to say, man, is that in this country we only have the courts to fight for us now. You know, only the courts are on our side. God forbid that gets infiltrated one day, then we are really on our own. I mean, the VAT issue, we were just at the mercy of the DA and whoever else was pushing that particular decision via the courts. It seems like we just only have the courts on our side now. Yeah, Anonymous here, Rustenburg.
Ray, you are calling us. Yeah, Ray, you're calling from Pretoria. Hi.
Yes. Good morning, Mr. Manyathela.
Sure.
I feel that Rob, that commented, is completely wrong and is out of line. Yes, you feel like all of us, they are guilty. There's video footage. How can he say there's only two outcomes? Yes, we all know that. There's guilty or innocent. How are those guys innocent if there is video footage of them assaulting these guys, threatening them on the road, and then the Deputy President comes out and says they acted wrongly? So how does an internal disciplinary hearing find them innocent? Something is not right. And Ruere should stop these nonsense of that of no signing off. We all know he's corrupt and he's in somebody's pocket. That is clear as daylight. And the internal disciplinary hearing has got a direct influence on the court case, because the court's going to look at what happened in the disciplinary hearing and add that to their findings. And if these guys get free from in the criminal case, what does our constitution mean to us?
Ray in Pretoria, thank you for your thoughts. Anonymous here on the WhatsApp line says, Clement, in all honesty, politics aside, these policemen will do anything to protect their principal, which happens to be the whole president of the country. And funny how the same society then downplays the shooting of his motorcade. Polotiki there, that's what Anonymous says there on the WhatsApp line. And Anonymous, the police have investigated and they came up with I think it was a preliminary report. So there was no assassination whatsoever. So there's already a preliminary report on that. And I think also the reason that some people were just downplaying and not believing is because the way this matter has been handled was just weird. It really was just weird, because on the one hand, the matter happens a while back and only weeks later you communicated. Like, why did you wait for so long? And then when we try to get the police to come and confirm, because it's a serious thing. If we have a deputy president who was nearly assassinated, that's supposed to be concerning all of us. And the police couldn't even confirm that there was a shooting until much later when the commissioner had to release a statement. So it's just been handled in very, very, very funny ways. Another one says, Clement, the issue with the police, in 2023, my wife and I were robbed and we decided to rush to Boksburg police station. When we got there, due to our state and shock, I accidentally faced oncoming traffic. To my defense, there was no sign that it is a one-way in for parking. A detective came and hit me on the face and then arrested me, and they proceeded to extort money from my wife. At the end of the day, we got robbed by thugs and police. That's why I never report anything. And you see, that's the kind of culture that such lack of accountability sometimes produces. It's a minute before 10.
To live wealthier, you need to be able to grow your assets. At Standard Bank Private, you get a team of internationally acclaimed financial experts to advise you on local and global investment strategies. Plus, being with a leader in home loans, you can start expanding your property portfolio. So, come live wealthier with Africa's best private bank. Apply online at standardbank.co.za. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Kruger Untamed camps leave no trace. When the season ends, they disappear, returning the land to the wild. But while they're here, they offer something rare. Raw wilderness, simple comfort, and 2 guided safaris a day, walking or driving. Return to wild at Chokwane River Camp and Satara Plains Camp. All meals and house drinks are included. No crowds, no clutter. Everything you need, nothing you don't. Book your place at KrugerUntamed.com.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Bali Dlamini. Mourners have gathered at the St. Peter Anglican Church in Rocklands in Bloemfontein this morning for the funeral service of Free State Constable Boipelo Senoge. Senoge is one of 3 officers who died after the vehicle they were travelling in plunged into the Henops River in Centurion last month. Police Minister Senzo Mchunu is expected to deliver the eulogy at today's official funeral. Speaking at the service this morning, National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola says Senoge was taken away from the police service at an early age. Masemola says as the SAPS, they were still expecting more from her.
Senoge was at Pakweg police station and she was doing well, and you heard that she was dedicated to her work and always smiling all the time. But we have to accept the reality where we are today, that indeed it did happen.
The DA is continuing its fight against the ANC's cadre deployment policy, with the party now petitioning the Supreme Court of Appeal. The party wants to overturn the order of the Gauteng High Court, which dismissed its application for leave to appeal. Earlier this year, the court dismissed its initial application to have the cadre deployment policy declared unconstitutional. Zoleka Kotashe has more.
The legal battle over cadre deployment seems far from over, as the DA has now filed papers before the Supreme Court of Appeal over the policy. The DA argues that the judgment of the Gauteng High Court in Pretoria stands as a precedent that permits party political influence in the public sector. The party submits that there are serious constitutional implications arising from the High Court's judgment, which undermines provisions of the Constitution that stipulates that no employee of the public service may be favoured or prejudiced only because that person supports a particular political party or cause. It posits that the case meets the test for an appeal to be granted and seeks an order declaring the ANC's cadre deployment policy unconstitutional. Zolega Kotashe, Eyewitness News.
5 men accused of the murder of rapper Keenan Forbes and celebrity chef Dibela Motswane are expected to appear in the Durban High Court today. Their appearance will mark the start of the trial more than 2 years after the 2 were shot and killed on Florida Road. In total, 7 suspects have been arrested for the crime, with 2 charged in Eswatini. Nhlanhla Mabaso has more.
The high-profile murder case will be heard in the Durban High Court for the first time since it was certified trial-ready 3 months ago. During the previous appearance, the court dismissed new bids for bail by 2 of the accused, the alleged mastermind Mziwe Themba Kwabeni and the alleged sporter Lindoguhle Ndimande approached the court for bail on new facts. With attempts to have the 2 suspects in Eswatini brought back to the country still underway, the state says it is ready to proceed with the matter. Nhlanhla Mabaso, Eyewitness News, Durban.
Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana says government will undertake a bold spending review as political pressure mounts for the executive to account for expensive habits. Government spending is again under the microscope after Treasury proposed to hike the standard VAT rate to narrow the fiscal deficit. Speaking at the launch of Phase 2 of Operation Vulindlela yesterday, Godongwana recommitted to improving the effectiveness and efficiency of government spending.
With over 240 spending reviews undertaken by National Treasury and Provincial Treasuries since 2013, government has a solid foundation with which to not only introduce cost-cutting measures, but to systematically assess whether public expenditure is effectively aligned with the priorities of this government and delivers in the best possible value for money.
And all eyes are on the chimney above the Sistine Chapel as day 2 of voting gets underway for a new pope. Last night, black smoke emerged from the chimney, a signal that Cardiff's had failed to elect a replacement for Pope Francis. Up to 4 rounds of voting can take place each day, 2 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon. If successful, we will be seeing white smoke above the Sistine Chapel. To win, one man needs to secure 2/3 majority of the 133 cardinals or 89 votes to become the 267th Pope. Gold is trading at $3,344.54 an ounce. The rand is at 18.31 to the dollar, 24.32 to the pound, 20.67 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $61.12 a barrel.
On our roads, we've got an incident at the Gelulis interchange. It's affecting the R24 Albertina Sisulu Highway westbound from Edenvale Road, going past the Electron interchange. N12 West also seeing just some mild pressure if you're coming from Meadowdale as well as North Reef Road. And then in the city of Johannesburg, there's an incident in Sandton M1 North, seeing some queuing traffic between Athol Oaklands and Grayston Drive. Please drive with care.
It's a fine Thursday in store for Gauteng today. Temperatures will peak at highs of between 24 and 25 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. Mourners have gathered at the St. Peter Anglican Church in Rocklands, Bloemfontein. That's where the funeral service of Free State Constable Boipelo Senoge is underway.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
What are the matters that matter to you?
702 listens.
You're with Clement Manyathela
On 702.
Let's walk the talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856.
92.7 and 106 FM.
Seven minutes after 10 o'clock. Dumelang, welcome to the second hour of the Clement Manyathela Show. Thank you for staying with us here on 702. Thank you for your thoughts, your inputs, your contributions on the 702 open line as always. Remember, at 11 o'clock, we're going to have our Thursday dialogue. And today we're going to be talking about the sporting action that everybody is anticipating this coming Saturday. Who will hold that Nedbank Cup trophy? I've got journalists I've invited in studio. Is it going to be the mighty Pirates? Are they going to be as brilliant as they have been this season and hold on to that trophy? Or will a miracle happen and Kaizer Chiefs somehow wins? That's a conversation we're going to have at 11 o'clock. But right now, we start with our Hanging Out feature.
Hanging Out with Clement
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
And on our Hanging Out feature this morning, we've got Dr. Pepe Marais, the founding partner and group chief creative officer of brand and communications group Joe Public. He is really an advertising pioneer whose company has really dominated the industry for so many years. I'm sure you've seen their ads, you've seen some of their work. But he's really quite incredible and probably one of the most humble people as well that you'll come across. But also what makes him even more cooler is because he supports Pirates. No?
Not
okay. Then you're not cool anymore.
I was just making fun there.
So when I was talking about Pirates, like he did like a pirate sign, and I thought that's the man.
No, so I'm just going with the flow. What's happening at work? I know it's a big game this weekend.
It
massive.
is.
Of course, it's Nedbank as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, but traditionally, look, I'm an Afrikaans guy, so rugby is my game. I can't play it, but I love it.
But you love that.
But hey, it's soccer, eh? It's
Yeah,
part of this nation.
It's going to be so fascinating over the weekend. How are you? Thank you so much for making time for us.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks so much for the opportunity, Clement. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, we appreciate you being here. I've always loved reading about your story because it's just so fascinating. I think you're really a thoughtful, inspiring leader. A lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of creative people, I think, really appreciate the work you've done. And when you speak about your journey, that somehow inspires them and helps them on their path as well. And I want us to go back to that journey and maybe start from when you were a newspaper delivery boy. Because, I mean, from that to being an advertising doyen that you are, a creative leader in the advertising industry now, just take us through that journey. How was it back then? And did you know then when you were a newspaper delivery boy that one day you're going to be Pepe? The Pepe.
That's a good question. I was just thinking maybe I should answer, those ads in the newspapers really excited me.
Yeah.
But not true. I'm always very conscious of my privileges. So I just want to put that up front. But in that old South African society, I grew up with little means. So to start delivering newspapers at the age of 12 was to create income to help my mother feed the family. So, and I'm always very grateful looking back because I think that was the seed that was planted to me becoming an entrepreneur because I was making my own money from the age of 12. So delivering newspapers, I wanted to become a civil engineer because one of my friends had a rich father and they lived up on the hill. So I lived next to the railroad in a semi-attached house with my mum and my sister. They lived on the hill, so I aspired to that. And his
dad was an engineer?
His dad was an engineer. So that's how you make money. And that's really sad today when I see the township kids all aspire just to doctors, lawyers, engineers, because we assume that's the only way to be successful. And then we don't realize we spend 80% of our lives working and then we don't do what we love. So I would have fallen into something I didn't love. I went to the army. Back in the day, that's what we did, conscription. That's actually the first time where I met colored guys from the Cape Flats because they were allowed to go to the army. There weren't any black guys in the army. And I somehow connected and made friends with them because they could speak my language, Afrikaans. But at the end of the army, I was flying from the border of Namibia and Angola to South Africa, and I met a graphic designer. For whatever reason, that's why I go, there's a greater plan for all of us, because that I was absolutely focused on going to study engineering. And this guy had a portfolio, and he showed me his portfolio, and I was, geez, what is this? And he said graphic design. And instantly I changed what I wanted to become. After 7, 8 years of going, I'm going to become an engineer, I decided to get into graphic design, still did not know about advertising. So I'm not one of those people who aspire to advertising my whole life. And then did a 3-year design diploma at a little art school in Cape Town. And then on the night of my graduation, drove into an agency called Ogilvy. And met a photographer, and I was like, this looks like amazing.
I want to do this for the rest of my life.
This is what I'm going to do. So I followed my intuition more than anything else and found myself in advertising.
But were you creative, though, as a child growing up? Are there moments you remember where you thought, in hindsight, I see that there was a bit of creativity in me?
No. That was what's fascinating. So, I drew. My mum will say, you did draw. I drew little cartoons, but it wasn't a big thing for me. I actually stole a beautiful picture. I mean, I'm just speaking off the cuff, whatever comes up. So you might have to censor. But I remember seeing a beautiful picture in Standard 2, grade, what's that? Grade 2. Or SAPS B, it was called back then, grade 2. That's why someone drew and I stole it and pawned it off as my own. So I was obviously attracted to beautiful pictures. And I drew a little bit, but my first artifact was drawing a girl that I fell in love with at school's face on a chicken egg. So that was probably my first act of art. And then funny enough, that girl left me for a guy who could play guitar. So the second act of art was I was going to get her back, so I learned how to play guitar in the army. So I didn't know I had this inherent... So the first time I really started realizing I've got a latent artistic skill was at art school, because we did life drawing. You can imagine now, Afrikaans boy out of the army, conservative, and you draw naked woman. That was like I remember blushing almost every lesson for the first year, but you get used to it. And then discovering I can really draw well. And then I always believe if you can draw well, it's not a standard. You get a lot of very good designers that maybe can't draw well, but I think drawing as a skill does affect your design capability. Definitely affected mine. So no, none of these things were predetermined.
That's so fascinating.
Crazy.
What is it about the advertising world that fascinates you so much? And what is the influence that you've also picked up about this world?
Yeah. Sure, I can go wax lyrical, eh? I've never fallen out of love with it. I've been in it now for 34, 35 years. I've not woken up one day not excited about going to work in my life. I've never on a Monday gone, or Sunday night, go, tomorrow's Monday. So this industry of advertising, I often make a joke because it's said that it's the second least trusted industry in the world, second to politicians. And I go I use this as a joke, but it's probably the most powerful industry in the world. If you think about it, if you didn't have advertising, you wouldn't have television. You wouldn't have radio. You wouldn't have any social platforms. So I saw on LinkedIn an article this morning about, we all know the consultancies are buying advertising agencies. And there was this whole thing about consultancies eating advertising's lunch. I didn't want to comment on it. I felt I'm not going to rise to it, but I think it's narrow-minded. Like to speak about, while we're eating your lunch, I'm like, I don't think you understand exactly what advertising can do and what advertising has done for brands like Nike and Apple. And in this country for sure, for so many brands, if you do it right. And there's maybe areas where we can add a lot more value. But I love it, man. Like the stuff you can do in advertising, the way, if you really seriously look at advertising, and maybe we don't take it seriously enough because there's not enough good work, but when it's done well, it grows brands.
I mean, I was looking at, I've seen your work, the ads that you guys have worked on, whether it's Uber Eats, Nedbank, Nike, Chicken Lick, and you name it. And for some reason, every time I look at that, there's a feeling you have. There's a relatability aspect there. So it's not just about the brand, but it's also about you, and it centers you. And I always wonder, how do people manage to tap into that feeling where I watch that and I go, it makes me feel in a particular way, and I'm not just thinking about the brand. I actually go inward.
Yeah, that's what a lot, and that's. I don't rant anymore because I take life that it's the way it is for a reason, and when it feels like it's really bad, it actually inspires good. So there's not a lot of good work out there, and I think that's a problem in our country. Globally, it's a problem because we see what's happening. Everyone is concerned with short-termism. Globally, we spend $750 billion on advertising. 92% of it factually is ineffective.
Jeez.
Because it's just rubbish, like churn, short-termism. But we need to go through this to discover the truth. But when you do truthful advertising, that you speak about, the stuff that resonates with consumers, because consumers, they don't buy what you're selling, they buy what you believe in.
Yes.
So when you sell them a belief, then you start connecting with the consumers, and then you start building long-term relationships with a brand. Because that's ultimately what we do. We create a relationship between a consumer and a brand. And let's face it, we can't really trust politicians. Religion's under pressure. So brand has got quite a role to play.
Yeah.
So we should do it a lot better. That's our focus. Our work, I give a lot of credit to our people. We're a diverse bunch of people. And when you're diverse, you do better work.
I like that. And speaking of diversity, because this is something you've also been passionate about, and I know you've been proud of the transformation journey that the business has undertaken under your tenure. Tell me why that is so important to you. I mean, you talk about when when there's diversity, there's better work as well. When did you realize that it's imperative for the company to go through this journey?
I honestly will not be truthful if I knew. I've been thinking about it. I was at breakfast. I just came from breakfast with one of our, I can't go one client's better than another, but we love some of our clients a lot more because they really empower us to do the work that we believe works. But we're going to get all of them there over time, But I was at breakfast with a client of ours, and I was discussing exactly that. I don't know if it is I don't think, and actually I believe it's not like a guilt thing. I think for some reason, because of my backstory of childhood, I find it my duty and I do find it more duty than anything else, to drive diversity and inclusion for whatever reason. I don't know what the reason, but I think it's linked to childhood. But I find it a deep sense of duty. It is something that I am proud of because I know that we were driving it before we were on the transformation scorecard. So something inherent in us, we knew that there's something better that's going to come. It's not always easy because when you're different, you don't agree. But nothing worth it is ever easy. So it's a journey we're on together. We're all figuring it out together. And there's huge gaps to improve. I said the other day, the best car in the world has not been built. And the best advertising campaign has not been made. Life is about growing and improving. So the journey of transformation and making the world better is never going to end. I don't think, not in our lifetime, not in the next 10 lifetimes. So it's a journey, but I am proud of it.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so we're going to learn more about you and understand your journey as a business leader. I know I've got already WhatsApp voice notes coming through, some text as well. I want to go to one of your favorite songs now. Yeah?
On 702.
Yes, yes. We do special things for special guests. So, Paul Simon, tell me about Graceland and why that's one of your favorite.
So, I didn't know you're going to ask these things. I just quickly pulled those out of a hat. Why did I choose those? So, firstly, that vinyl record was given to me by the love of my life, my high school sweetheart. That is still in my house at the river, our house, not my house, our house, our weekend house. I've got a vinyl record player. I've got all my vinyls there, and that's in my collection. And it's quite interesting. Why would I resonate in the 80s to Paul Simon? Because back then I wasn't aware of how he created Graceland and that he illegally came to South Africa because there were sanctions and started playing here and discovered the musicality, the African musicality within this continent and within this country. And how he then flew those musicians to New York to make those magnificent songs. So there's such an African link to such a global icon like Paul Simon.
Mississippi Delta was shining like a national guitar. I am following the river down the highway through the cradle of the Civil War. I'm going to Graceland, Graceland, to Memphis, Tennessee. I'm going to Graceland. Poor boys and pilgrims with families, and we are going to Graceland. My traveling companion is 9 years old. He is the child of my first marriage. But I've reason to believe we both will be received in Graceland. She comes back to tell me she's gone. As if I didn't know that, as if I didn't know my own bed. As if I'd never noticed the way she brushed her hair from her forehead. And she said, losing love is like a window in your heart. Everybody sees you're blown apart. Everybody sees the wind blow. I'm going to Graceland. my traveling companions are ghosts and empty sockets. I'm looking at ghosts and empties. But I have reason to believe we all will be received in Graceland. There is a girl in New York City who calls herself a human trampoline. Sometimes when I'm falling, flying, or tumbling in turmoil, I say, whoa, so this is what she means. She means we're bouncing into Graceland. And I see losing love is like a window in your heart. Well, everybody sees you're blown apart. Everybody feels the wind blow. Ooh, in Graceland. Graceland, I'm going to Graceland. For reasons I cannot explain, there's some part of me wants to see Graceland. And I may be obliged to defend every love, every ending, or maybe there's no obligations now. Maybe I have a reason to believe we all will be received in Graceland.
Graceland by Paul Simon. What a beautiful song. It's 26 after 10. Did you know it costs more to be a woman? Nedbank is on a mission to spotlight financial gender bias and want you to know that often women's products are more expensive than the same male equivalent. Armed with this knowledge, Nedbank wants to empower women financially and own their spending power. Join the conversation using the hashtag #GenderPriceGap. See money differently. Nedbank.
Honey, what are you doing?
I'm stretching for tonight.
I thought you're not dancing at bachelorette parties anymore.
Baby, we need the money to put Johnny through matric mos.
And what's the police uniform for?
The clients feel safer when I wear it.
No, man, just sell your bucky to We Buy Cars. They give the best prices and they pay you within minutes.
Okay, but can I just go and dance one more time, please? You know how much I love it.
No, the buyer's already on his way here.
Wow, okay.
Strapped for cash? Just sell your vehicle to We Buy Cars. The easiest way to sell your car by far.
For all your home improvement needs, Leroy Merlin is the perfect destination to bring your inspiration to life. Get a 4.2 kilowatt to tie 3-panel gas heater that was 1299 now for only 1149, and a KDAC 9 kilogram empty gas cylinder that was 979 now for an amazing 869. Explore all our ranges at your nearest Leroy Merlin or shop online until 27 May. Leroy Merlin, make your home the best place to live. T's and C's apply.
This isn't just a walk, it's a journey through memory, through meaning. The 702 Walk the Talk, hosted by Freedom Park in the city of Tshwane, returns on Sunday, the 27th of July. Walk from the hallowed grounds of Freedom Park to the southern lawns of the Union Buildings and some of our capital city's most iconic landmarks. Choose from 8 kilometers, 6.7 kilometers in honor of Mandela Month, or 4 kilometers for something lighter. Entry is 360 Rand for adults and 200 Rand for kids under 12. There's no parking at the start or end, so please book your park and ride from Joburg or Pretoria when you enter. Sign up on primemediaplus.com before the 26th of July. 702 Walk the Talk, hosted by Freedom Park in the city of Tshwane. Walk with meaning. Walk with us.
Hanging out with Clement
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
It's 28 minutes now after 10 o'clock. We're hanging out with Dr. Pepe Marais on our Hanging Out feature this morning. And you can speak to him if you want to, if you've got a question. 011-883-0702 is the number to dial. WhatsApp's on 072-702-1702.
Oh, good morning, Clement. Oh, I love Pepe Marais. I have his book. I read it twice. The one with the cigarette outside. I forgot the name. But I love him. Mapula from Pretoria. And I'm enjoying the conversation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Mapula, are you working on another book? You love writing, don't you?
I love writing. I'm an art director by trade.
Yeah.
And I'm Afrikaans, so English is my second language. And I suppose that's why I've got such a... Because our product, the way that it engages with consumers, I have to give a lot of credit there to my creative partner, Kolisa, Jess Hana. And my support of that over the years has been driven by the fact that it's also my second language, English. So I'm very passionate about when we do work that communicates in people's languages.
Yeah.
But I do love words, and it turns out I can write quite well. So I'm busy with my third book at the moment.
Amazing.
I've got a deadline in September and I'm not getting to it. So
I'm sure you'll
lastminute.com.
I'm sure you'll get it. It's 10:30 now. Let's get the latest in Eyewitness News headlines. Mbali, hi.
Thanks, Clement. A very good morning. Police Minister Senzo Mchunu says no effort was spared in the search for 3 Free State officers who went missing last month. Constables Boipelo Senoge, Cebe Kululinda and Gamogedzu Base were found dead in the Henops River following an extensive search operation. Mchunu is currently delivering the eulogy at the official funeral service of Constable Senoge in Bloemfontein this morning. The DA is continuing its fight against the ANC's cadre deployment policy, with the party now petitioning the Supreme Court of Appeal. The party wants to overturn the order of the Gauteng High Court, which dismissed its application for leave to appeal. Earlier this year, the court dismissed its initial application to have cadre deployment declared unconstitutional. And in Rome, deliberations and more rounds of voting are expected to take place at the Sistine Chapel as cardinals look to elect a new pope. Last night, black smoke emerged from the chapel's chimney, meaning that the cardinals were not yet able to choose a new pontiff. The 133 cardinals were called back to Rome following the death of Pope Francis last month. Those are the headlines, this EWN and more at 11 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
A very good morning. We start in the city of Peace, Sekuruleni. Some slow-moving traffic on the R24, Albertina Sisulu Highway, westbound to Electron and the Gelulis interchange, N12 seeing an improvement. And roadworks, of course, in place on the R21. And this is going to be in both directions between Glen Marais and Pomona. In Spartan, there's some slow-moving traffic on Green Avenue just near Isando Road. And then in the city of Johannesburg, an improvement on all the major routes all round. M1 South heading into the CBD, still quite slow from Parktown, going past Charlotte Matlaga Academic Hospital until you get to the double-decker section, Crown Interchange. Once you are in the CBD, Crown North, Fortsburg, Mayfair, Amalgam, seeing some high traffic volumes, Church Street, Park Drive, as well as Main Reef Road. While in the nation's capital, it's just going to be traffic lights out. Proclamation Hill, Kwagga and Maunde, Garsfontein at Atterbury and Eros, as well as in the city of Johannesburg, in Midrand, Old Pretoria Road and Olifantsfontein Road. No points men or points women. Responsibility falls on you to treat those as voice stops. Remember to keep a safe following distance and be kind. Next traffic update will be in 30 minutes or as it happens.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Hanging out with Clement
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
10:33 on our Hanging Out feature. Dr. Pepe Marais hanging out with us this hour, founding partner and group chief creative officer of brand and communications group Joe Public. I've got someone here who wants to know what your relationship is with doubt, Pepe. Someone says, please can you ask him if he sometimes finds himself doubting? And how do you deal with doubt?
No, but I'm going to give you a little bit of a backstory to being able to say no. I've got deep belief, like you almost can't take me off my belief. But that did not come easy. So I was very doubtful. I had a deep sense of not being good enough, which came through years of conditioning, childhood trauma, all the way through just the way we brought up. You know, people question you, or teachers say you're stupid, or someone say you're dumb, or like all these things that we carry unconsciously. So my biggest driver to actually start my own business with my partner, Gareth, was probably the fear of not being good enough. So that doubt, not being good enough, was actually a gift that drove me to start a business. And then the ambition to make it the best was driven by I'm not good enough. What was fascinating in my late 30s, normally the male's midlife crisis.
Oh, is that where I'm headed? I must buckle up.
38 to 42, buckle up. You know, and then there's some serious questions that happen at that period of our time as men. And I realized that the key to unlock my my purpose, my reason for being, was actually this fear of not being good enough. And once I figured that out, anxiety left my system to a high degree, and doubt left my system. But doesn't mean I still get a bit nervous, coming even on your show. It's not like I feel a little bit of butterflies or speaking in front of people. So, and those things are good to me. They're human and they keep us alive. So I'm very alive and I'm very ambitious, and I dream of a lot of things, and I see a lot of potential in people, but I don't have doubt.
Yeah. What's your definition of success?
I've got a very clear one. It's quite long, and I live this, and I measure it. But I want to create. To me, success is if I can create environments of harmony and joy, which is. It's quite interesting because it's difficult to create it in the ad industry, which is so volatile, and there's so much pressure in this economy. But environments that's harmonious and joyful, where the focus is on the well-being of people, we grow people and assist them to achieve the highest levels of self-confidence and excellence, and the nurturing of ideas and dreams and trust, to me is big. I wouldn't say I deliver on that, so I'm not successful yet. But that's my definition of success. And then in order to do that, I do strive to be a leader of humility, I try and be more compassionate. I try and act with love. I can be very tough. I can hurt people, and I'm working on that. I've got a new role in our business, and it's actually helping me become a lot more empathetic. But I'm on a journey, I'm hard, and I can be ruthless. But as a leader, I'm learning that that's not a good way to lead. And it's interesting because leaders don't have leaders. So often.
Yeah.
So
that's so fascinating. You're reminding me of something which I'll come to in a moment. I've heard you before talk about the best advice that you've ever received, but I'll get to that in a moment. I want to quickly take a call. I want to ask you to please put on your headphones. And let's take a call. 011-883-0702 is where you can give us a call. We've got a call now from Kanye in Johannesburg. Kanye, good morning.
Morning, Clement, and morning to Pepe, my friend and my brother, and fellow climber summiting Mount Kilimanjaro together many years ago. We never celebrate the things that you really do outside being great and being a leader. But Clement, this guy is one of the superhuman beings in South Africa, ensuring that young people are given opportunities. I have a child who is talented differently, and Pepe was one of those people in the industry I could call upon to give my child an opportunity. Today, that baby girl Pepe is qualified. She's overcome all her challenges because of people like you. We need to talk more about South Africans like you, my friend, who make South Africa a better place. I'm so proud of you, and I love you so much. Talk about our climb to Kilimanjaro. Love you.
I'm like in tears. I can't believe you're phoning. I haven't seen you for so long. Geez, amazing light. I'll never forget.
Kanye, thank you for calling. What a wonderful call. How was that, hey? Mounting Kilimanjaro.
I'm literally in tears. That was a life-changing experience. And Kanye, I'm literally crying. She's amazing. And the people I met there, because it was the first time that I was in a minority ethnically, and I remember it was me and Heidi, and we had all black. The whole group was black. And my one friend is Sibusiso Valane, so he led us up.
Yeah.
And then everyone was speaking isiZulu. And then they'll go like, oh, we've got the white oak with us. We speak English. And we had this life-changing experience above the clouds where we sat for about 10 hours in a tent and we shared our life stories. And it was incredible. We each had an hour to share our entire life story. And the realization that we are all the same was profound. That's why I got so emotional when she called me. I was like, what?
Okay.
Amazing.
Oh, that's great. Oh, that's amazing. All right, it's 20 minutes now before 11 o'clock.
Dear Journal, adulting, day 3,700 and whatever. Just bought a bunch of supplements I can't pronounce to try and fix my sleep schedule. What a game changer. So chuffed I spotted them when I was doom scrolling at 11:53 p.m.
finally learning about mental health? Get covered at pineapple.co.za. It's convenient and like 19 Rand a day, so it's 100% the insurance for you. Underwritten by Old Mutual Alternative Risk Transfer Insurer Limited, licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP. Premiums are risk profile dependent.
Brush, stroke, paint, color, protect, and admire. From roof paint to exterior textures and interior silk, Warrior Paints has it all. The product range and stylish colors are amazing. And what's more, Warrior Paints has crushed prices for incredible savings. Enjoy that good old-fashioned personal service you deserve. For price, quality, variety and service, Warrior Paints is street ahead. Warrior Paints, affordable, lasting, luxury.
My family's struggling with snotty noses and phlegmy coughs.
Oh no! Have you tried ACC?
ACC 600 is a convenient one-a-day effervescent tablet from 14 years of age, or now also in a no water needed fruity flavored sherbet-like granules that dissolve in your mouth. Ideal for the on-the-go adult. Ask for ACC 600 effervescent or oral powder at your nearest pharmacy to get rid of the snotties and flemmings. And trust, if it doesn't say ACC, it's not ACC.
Every thriving business starts the same way with someone who dares to dream.
If that's you, 702 and Standard Bank's MyMobiz business account want to back your next bold move.
Every week we'll spotlight 4 of Gauteng's boldest entrepreneurs and give them a chance to win 25,000 Rand to boost their business.
And if you already bank smart with a Standard Bank business account, that becomes 50,000 Rand.
50,000 Rand.
To enter, hit primemediaplus.com
and tell us your growth aspiration and how a cash injection could unlock your next level of success.
This week, tune in to 702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa, weekdays 6 to 9 a.m. to hear if your business is in the running. It's time to rise and thrive with Standard Bank's MyMobiz business account.
TCs and more at primemediaplus.com.
Hanging out with Clement
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
19 minutes before 11 o'clock, we're hanging out with Pepe Marais on our Hanging Out feature this morning. I want to go to your next song, Pepe. Maybe guide me here between Nora Jones or the Hot Chili Peppers. Which one should we go to? And why is it so special?
Let's go for the Chili Peppers. I mean, I'm a bit of a rocker. I was a musician for 16 years. I played a lot of gigs all over this country. I had incredible experiences. I almost left advertising for music in my younger years, but I realized that would be a mistake.
Is that a passion of yours?
Yes, big passion. Music's a massive passion of mine. But I'm a generalist. You know, advertising, we are generalists. But yeah, I love music, and this is my favorite band.
Got tissue that I wish you saw. Sarcastic Mr. Know-It-All. I'll close your eyes and I'll kiss you, 'cause with the birds I'll share. With the birds I'll share this lonely view. And with the birds I'll share this lonely view. And push me up against the wall. Young tuck girl in a push-up bra. I'm falling all over myself to lick your heart in case you're here, 'cause with the birds I share this lonely view. With the birds I share this lonely view. With the birds I share this lonely view. Blood loss in a bathroom stall. A southern girl with a skylit draw. A wave goodbye to Ma and Pa, 'cause with the birds I'll share. With the birds I'll share this lonely view. With the birds I'll share this lonely view. Soft spoken with a broken jaw. Step outside but not to brawl. And autumn sweet wind, call it fall. I'll make it to the moon if I have to crawl in. With the close your eyes and I'll kiss you, 'cause with the birds of shed, with the birds of shed, it's a lonely view, and with the birds of shed, it's a lonely view, and with the birds of shed, it's a lonely view.
That's a good one.
It's a goodie.
That's definitely a good one. I've got some questions that are coming through that I'll get to in a moment. You were speaking about leadership earlier on, and how sometimes you could be a ruthless leader, but because some leaders don't actually have leaders. Is it sometimes a lonely journey, being a leader? Like where you think, but who's leading me?
Yeah.
And I know now people can get coaches, executive coaches. Did you ever experience loneliness in that position?
Yeah. So referring to the song and leadership, so this song, the context of the song is recovery from addiction. And Anthony Kiedis speaks to drug addiction, but I think we are addicted to bad behavior taught at childhood, and then it plays out in our adult lives, and we don't do the work to actually recover from that addiction. And leadership for me, especially when you start going into healing yourself as a leader, because hurt people. And if you have a leader that's a hurt person, unconsciously, that person's going to hurt people. I know that because I've been there. Far less nowadays, but it's something I'm very, very aware of, how easily I can hurt people with my words. And that's all just addiction from childhood behavior that I saw a role model behaving like that, as an example. So I think that once you go into the inner journey of leadership, we really start becoming aware of your role and how you affect people. It is a lonely journey. And I'm in this third book I'm writing now, I did ask the question, who leads the leaders? Because leaders, everything rises and falls on leadership. That is the truth of it. We can say we're all leaders, even you lead yourself. But in the position of leadership, everything, you can transform a country that took 50 years to transform from the top down, you can transform in 5 years if there's a will. But who leads the leaders is a very interesting question.
Yeah. You raise an interesting point about addiction as a behavior, because most of the time we look at it as we're looking for a substance. Or do you drink alcohol? Do you take drugs? And that's we normally associate addiction with. But sometimes it's our behaviors. And probably all of us are addicted to something in some way or the other. But we just focus more on substance addiction and not so much some of our behaviors.
100%.
So that needs healing then. When did you start your own journey of healing? And does spirituality play a part of that for you?
Yeah, 38. So I'm 56, turning 57 this year. So almost 18, 19 years ago. Became and that's so significant now that I'm speaking about it, that in 18 years, it's almost like compounding investment. When you start saving little bits of money, for 15 years it doesn't do anything, and then suddenly it starts becoming enough to start making money. And I'm seeing this in my behavior. I'm only seeing a shift in my behavior in the last 2 years, a real shift. But it's been an 18-year journey of consciously working on my own behavior, healing myself as a leader. Because it's amazing how many people we touch without even knowing that we touch them. So if we can touch them, and I'm not saying to become less firm in my ambition and my strive for excellence and wanting to ensure that we're the best. And I'll tell you one thing, Clement, the reason why I want us as an agency, as a business to be the best is because our vision includes growth of people, diversity and inclusion, and conscious leadership. Now, you can have all these beautiful things you stand for, but if you're not the best, if you're number one, you've got a much more of a voice than number 150. So even wanting to be the best is linked to actually making a profound impact.
Yeah.
And to do that, all leaders have to work on themselves to become better leaders.
Yeah.
Because that's how you get the best out of other people.
Yeah, someone else was asking on Twitter, asked me to ask you about your view on the advertising industry right now. How do you assess it?
I think it's so fine. Like, let me just say this. I'm reading a book. I'm reading so many books, but it's one of the books I'm reading is a book written in the 70s. And the challenges in advertising book. And the challenges they were struggling with then are exactly the same challenges now. So it seems that this world, the way the world moves, the way we want to move as people, we want to change fast, like the digital age. But the way the real world move seems to be much slower. Real impact happens more over time. I think the industry has lost its way. South African industry has lost its way for sure. I've no doubt. I mean, there's just not. I've been in it since 1990. So I saw the transformation of the country, the transformation of advertising. I saw the caliber of the work. There were a lot more better work. We have somehow lost our focus on what it is that we do. We sell a creative product. You wouldn't sell car brake pads and be fine with it if 98 of those car brake pads don't stop cars. And I would honestly say 98% of what we do is not doing what it's supposed to do. So based on that, I think we're in trouble. But that gives us a role to play as an agency to lead the way and to keep our ambition to improve every single day and be better at what we do.
Yeah. 8 minutes now before 11 o'clock.
It all starts with advice from FNB Private. Because the perfect overseas trip starts with planning. Save and spend in multiple currencies with your FNB Global account and lock in exchange rates. Enjoy up to 40% off flights with eBucks Travel and order Forex on the FNB app delivered to you at no extra cost. Your adventure awaits. Unlock invaluable with FNB Private. Help changes everything. FNB, a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized FSP and credit provider. TCs, earn rules and limits apply.
Are you looking for the best savings on spectacles? At Specsavers, enjoy 1,500 Rand off when you get tested at South Africa's trusted and most established optical group. Get 1,500 Rand off all frames in store, or use your 1,500 Rand off on our leading lens enhancements, such as drive light lenses that reduce artificial glare whilst driving. Book online or call your nearest store today. Affordable eye care, Specsavers. T's and C's apply.
Andile, the CEO of a multinational corporation, is driving home with his daughter.
Dad, why is the tooth fairy so stingy?
Stingy? Well, she makes sure everyone gets something.
Does everyone at your company get something?
Yes, they're covered by Old Mutual Corporate's employee benefits.
Even Abdul?
Of course, he gets retirement benefits.
And Sisampo on that big machine.
She gets group risk cover if that big machine hurts her.
Wow, that's amazing, Dad.
Visit oldmutual.co.za/employee benefits and go from questions to solutions for your employees with Old Mutual Corporate. Old Mutual Life Assurance Company SA Limited is a licensed FSP and life insurer. T's and C's apply.
Hanging out with Clement
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
7 minutes before 11 o'clock. We're just about to wrap up our conversation with Pepe Marais. Let's wrap up with this favorite song of his as well, Blick Bessie.
Sol babi wo inyuli pem li long yes babi well bes on bes balal bes porol babi well inyu insang ilo yes inyu insang di bani no cho boye vaso ibela Mon besndingo maibengang wap oh ngiyeni 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 ngiyenu be well in you minkang, me long years in you minkang, me bon bes palal bes. I be war, ye I be war, I be welly in you be tenches. Never guy never yon, mumandama. Yang mamba ni nyai, let it go the law. Gini, oh gini, 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 mama, gini, gini, gini. Bombes mayom, te cueles bo. Bias in Novunjal, Pingena Chase. Bombes by the tall ball. The telep Pinutila, Pingena Chase.
Oh, what a coming song. Gee by Black Bassie. I've got two quick questions before we wrap up, Pepe, that I want to ask. There's one, someone asked about the best advice you've ever received. What would that be? And what's your relationship with money?
Okay, the first one is not one I received, but it's one that I learned through cellular learning, which is real deep. You know, like touching a plate when it's hot. You really learn it at a different level. So I learned this through bankruptcy, heartbreak. Maybe I wouldn't relate it to death. I haven't experienced a close death. I lost my father. But the worst thing that can happen is the best thing that can happen. I've seen that bankruptcy enabled us to buy Joe Public back from IPG, New York listed entity. We were owned 100%, you know. My broken heart at school got me into music and I became a musician. I mean, I can give you 100 examples, and I wish we can all become more aware that when you look at life like that, bad is not really bad. It's just something that happens that inspires you to do something better.
I love that.
Relationship with money. I changed my relationship with I respect money. Money is the root of all good. You can do really great things with money if you apply it well. So I really respect money, but I'm very free with money. So I'm a saver. I save half my money and I spend half my money. And I spend it well. So I've got a very good relationship and a healthy relationship with money. And money to me is a byproduct of purpose and a byproduct of bringing value. And often when people go, I want to earn more, I go, add more value. I want to make more value. Create more value. And I think that's where we've lost the plot. We try and make money. We should make value. And then you make money naturally.
Oh. Pepe, thank you so much, man, for coming through.
I appreciate it.
Thank you for your brilliant work over the years and for being a doyen and influencing and inspiring so many people in and outside of your industry.
Really appreciate it.
It's a minute before 11.
In business, a rand saved is a rand earned. And almost 100,000 businesses trust OutSurance.
I'm in tourism. I'm running a guest house here. When I switched over to OutSurance, it was very simple and convenient. I used the savings to subsidize my solar installations. Switching to OutSurance was one of the best decisions I made insurance-wise, yes.
For your business insurance, contact OutSurance to see how much your business could save. SMS quote to 43503 for immediate cover or visit outsurance.co.za today. A licensed insurer and FSP. T's and C's online.
Celebrate Mother's Day on Sunday, the 11th of May at Narox's Winter Sculpture Fair. Experience an Italian-flavored day out with art, music, wine, gourmet food, and good living. Savor the flavors of Italy in Epicurean Emporium, an exclusive culinary journey with gourmet fare, artisanal treats, and curated Italian delights enjoyed in the arbors and lawns of the park. Benny's Bar will keep spirits high, offering a full selection of fine wines, craft cocktails, spirits, and refreshments throughout the day. Limited tickets are available from Nirox.com. Nirox is a private, not-for-profit foundation to benefit the arts. All income is used to maintain the grounds, the artist residency program, and artist support.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Bali Dlamini. Police Minister Senzo Mchunu says no effort was spared in the search for 3 Free State officers who went missing last month. Constables Boipelo Senoge, Cebe Kululinda and Kiamogetse Base were found dead in the Henops River following an extensive search operation. Mchunu has been delivering the eulogy at the official funeral service of Constable Senoge in Bloemfontein this morning. A memorial service was held for the 3 officers on Tuesday, with separate funerals planned for the next 3 days. Mchunu says the priority for the SAPS was finding officers when they went missing.
We believed that the best way of coming to terms with the situation and handling it properly and with integrity was to establish a 24-hour venue operational center with a multidisciplinary team comprising the heads of intelligence detectives from Limpopo, Free State, and from Gauteng.
The DA is continuing its fight against the ANC's cadre deployment policy, with the party now petitioning the Supreme Court of Appeal. The party wants to overturn the order of the Gauteng High Court, which dismissed its application for leave to appeal. Earlier this year, the court dismissed its initial application to have the cadre deployment policy declared unconstitutional. Zolega Kotashe has more.
The legal battle over cadre deployment seems far from over, as the DA has now filed papers before the Supreme Court of Appeal over the policy. The DA argues that the judgment of the Gauteng High Court in Pretoria stands as a precedent that permits party political influence in the public sector. The party submits that there are serious constitutional implications arising from the High Court's judgment, which undermines provisions of the Constitution that stipulates that no employee of the public service may be favoured or prejudiced only because that person supports a particular political party or cause. It posits that the case meets the test for an appeal to be granted and seeks an order declaring the ANC's cadre deployment policy unconstitutional. Zolega Kotashe, Eyewitness News.
A 5th suspect has been arrested in connection with the fatal shooting at the Wynberg Regional Court. A 20-year-old man has now been charged with murder following the shooting of Dingalumoya Qinso last month. The motive for the attack of the 50-year-old taxi operator is still unclear. The police's Novella Potelo.
The suspect was arrested yesterday by serious violent crime detectives. The arrest brings to 5 the number of suspects arrested in the murder investigation.
Pick n Pay says it is appalled by the tragic killing of one of its staff members at a branch in Protea Glen, Soweto. 22-year-old Sinendlandla Matonsi was stabbed to death while on duty, allegedly by her partner Anele Kula. He was arrested on the same day and has since appeared in the Protea Magistrates Court, where he abandoned bail and remains in custody. Jabuli Limbata has more.
The victim's guardian, Lungile Dlamini, is demanding CCTV footage from Pick n Pay to confirm the accounts of the eyewitnesses. In a written response, Pick n Pay told EWN that they are cooperating with the police in the investigation. They have also offered counseling to their staff members who witnessed the incident. However, Dlamini says this is not enough and wants answers on how the suspect entered the store with the weapon.
Pick n Pay is acting very dodgy. That's what I have picked up from their responses to all of this. And I think it's because they are taking advantage of the fact that Usnenhlanhla is an orphan, but they don't consider the fact that we could get a lawyer to fight for justice.
Pick n Pay told EWN that they are focused on helping the bereaved family. Jabuli Limbata, Eyewitness News in Soweto.
And all eyes are on the chimney above the Sistine Chapel as day 2 of voting gets underway for a new pope. Last night, black smoke emerged from the chimney, a signal that Cardiff had failed to elect a replacement for Pope Francis. Up to 4 rounds of voting can take place each day, 2 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon. If successful, we will be seeing white smoke above the Sistine Chapel. To be elected, one needs to secure 2/3 majority of the 133 cardinals, or 89 votes to become the next pope. Gold is trading at $3,344.55 an ounce. The rand is at 18.31 to the dollar, 24.32 to the pound, 20.67 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $61.12 a barrel.
Look out for roadworks in the city of Ekurhuleni, Kempton Park to be precise, between Pomona and Clement Manyathela on the R21. So if you're heading towards OR Tambo, you've got a flight to catch, you must allow for extra travel time. All routes heading to Lanseria International Airport, free-flowing at this point. Look out for a bit of pressure. This is in the Sandton region. Winnie Mandela Drive has got a bit of stop-and-go traffic in the Bryanston region, just near Bailey Clear Drive in both directions. Please drive with care.
A fine Thursday in store for Gauteng today. Temperatures peaking at highs of between 24 and 25 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour, Police Minister Senzo Mchunu says no effort was spared in the search for 3 Free State officers who went missing last month.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Entries to the 702 Walk the Talk are open. Go to primemediaplus.com to get your tickets today.
You're with Clement Manyathela
On 702.
Let's Walk the Talk, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app,
DSTV channel 856.
92.7 and 106 FM.
Seven minutes after 11 o'clock, Dumelang, welcome to the third and final hour of the Clement Manyathela Show. Thank you for staying with us here on 702. Time for our Thursday dialogue.
The Dialogue with Clement Manyathela.
It's not just another roundtable discussion.
Let's Walk the Talk on 702.
So, on our Thursday dialogue today, we are talking about the sporting action that we're all anticipating on Saturday. And the question I've been asking you this morning, and I want you to give us a call and send us a WhatsApp voice note if you want. Who will hold the Nedbank Cup trophy? Will Pirates, and you know me as a Pirates supporter, I think Pirates is going to show its brilliance once again and retain the cup. Or maybe you're a Kaizer Chiefs supporter and you think this is a moment where they'll secure the Nedbank Cup victory, even though they've had a disappointing season. There's a ticket chaos as well that a lot of fans are concerned about, but there are thousands of fans that will be flocking to the Moses Mabhida Stadium on Saturday for the Nedbank final, in the first final between Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates in the competition since 2006. So who is it going to be? Give us a call on 011-883-0702. You can send a WhatsApp on 072-702-1702. I've got my two guests in studio this morning. Lorenz Akola, who's a football journalist at Disky Times. Lorenz, thank you for making time. How are you?
Thank you for inviting me. I'm honored to be on your show for the first time.
Welcome.
I'm good and looking forward to the chat today.
Looking forward to it too. We also have Siasanga Munua Dibe. Yeah? Ah, Sia, it's you! How, Sia? How? I didn't know that it's you. It's so good to see you. There's a funny, I have to tell this story about Sia, guys. I met this guy, how many years ago?
About
6?
I don't know, 5, 6 years ago. Yeah.
6, 7 years ago.
Yeah.
You contacted me, was it on Instagram?
I'm not sure.
Somewhere on social media, also you sent me an email and you wanted to come and to be an intern and shadow me at work. We were still in the old building, and you came through, and you were very interested. I remember in sports, and you came. You shadowed us for I don't know, like for some time, and then you left, and then we've been in touch. I was actually talking to another friend of mine. I was telling him just the other day how proud I am of you because I see the work that you're doing. Yeah. So I'm so happy to see you. What a lovely surprise. Yeah. What a lovely surprise. Okay, gentlemen, thank you so much for making time. I want to start off with just this ticketing chaos. Like what's happening with the tickets, Lorenz? Because now there was a briefing yesterday. There are fans that are angry that are saying, I have spent 15,000 Rand on flights and accommodation. I was given a reference when I bought my tickets and now I'm told I'm going to be refunded. What happened?
Look, we can only go on the information that was given to us in the press conference, and basically the new ticketing system which they moved towards for better security and to avoid such issues. Open ticket obviously couldn't handle the demand of the Soweto Derby, a cup final between these two giants that we haven't had in a long time. So obviously the demand was always going to be high.
Yeah.
There was only 41,000 tickets available, which is, half of what FNB Stadium can take.
Yeah.
Which is what people are used to. So it's kind of like the 11 Rand ticket for the airline yesterday, where you go into the lobby and it's just the luck of the draw.
Yeah.
So basically what Bertie Grobler, the CEO of Stadium Management, who was roped in to help remedy the situation, said there was a breach or glitch, so to say, that allowed more people in the waiting room to buy tickets than possible. So obviously people paid for the tickets, but they couldn't be assigned a ticket because, let's say, there were 50 or 55,000 tickets sold, but only 41,000 was available. And then obviously the website crashed.
That's a mess, Sia, because there are so many people who have said, I am going there, whether they like it or not. Yeah. And I suppose that's really going to be a disaster for security because people have paid for accommodation. I mean, this is probably one of the most anticipated matches in a very long time. And I wonder how the police are going to handle it. But a lot of the fans are saying, we are going there, whether they like it or not.
Yeah.
That's going to be so tough. Let's talk about how significant this moment is, Sia. Why is this clash so significant right now? Why are we anticipating it so much?
Yeah, I mean, it's a Soweto Derby, first and foremost. Two big clubs, Kaizer Chiefs, Orlando Pirates, in a cup final. It's one of a kind. We hardly get this type of spectacle or event in our football. So it's special in that sense, and there's a lot riding in this fixture. Orlando Pirates, they want to defend their title with the outgoing coach Jose Rivero, whilst Kaizer Chiefs want to end their decade-long trophy drought. So there's quite a lot riding on this fixture, and that's basically what makes it so special.
Does Kaizer Chiefs go into this with their mood dampened, or because of what happened the other week when we beat them? Well, we Pirates beat them. Because now, I mean, I was laughing. Someone said, "Yeah, Kaizer Chiefs decided to lose that derby so that they can win this one."
Yeah.
But are they confident? Because they did play well. I thought they really gave us quite a challenge. Are they coming in confident? And are we as Pirates also coming in overconfident? Because I remember last time we were beaten so bad by Sekhukhune United when we were so overconfident and we were just undermining them.
Yeah, I mean, you'd expect the team to go into that game highly confident. They understand the magnitude of this game. They also understand what it will mean to win a trophy for the club, for the fans. So we're at the village on Monday. We got to see the players, coaches and staff, and you could see that, the mood is very positive. Everyone is looking forward to this game, and you'd want to believe that they've put the previous results behind them and just looking forward to this game. And Orlando Pirates as well, I mean, they wouldn't want to go to this one, undermining Kaizer Chiefs. I'm sure they also have put the results that they had over the weekend behind them. Jose Rivero, he knows how to play finals. He's been in this position before, so he also knows that they shouldn't go to this one overconfident.
Yeah. Lorenz, Orlando Pirates, I mean, is heading into this encounter on a 5-match win streak over Kaizer Chiefs, as I said. And I wonder if that somehow influences their chances in the game. But how does such a win build momentum for the next season? Why is it so significant even for us looking ahead to the next season?
Look, I mean, ideally, if the season was a normal season, it would mean a lot because it would be the final game of the season. But now there's league matches still afterwards in terms of this season. But I think the significance of it, because Rivero, like Sia said, Rivero's leaving. It could be 6 final wins in 6 finals for him. He lost one. So I think it's just important for a young group of players to, like Mbokadi, these guys are going to get the first taste of silverware, the first taste of winning. It's going to be obviously a special moment for the group, and then obviously they'll have a new coach next season, and potentially also many of these players might not be there because they're going to attract interest, your Nkotas, your Mofokengs. So I think it's just very important to continue that winning culture for Orlando Pirates. And then obviously it could be an unprecedented victory with 3 straight Nedbank Cup titles as well, which has never been done before.
Yeah, so no coach has ever lifted the trophy 3 years in succession. Who has the edge, though, in terms of strategic planning for this game when you look at the 2 coaches?
I think, obviously, Rivero with his experience. He's been there, done that now, won 5 domestic cups. I think he's obviously a very meticulous planner. As if you as an Orlando Pirates fan, you notice there's a difference in the way that he set ups in finals and in big games. You're going to get the Mahopa up front, the Dion Otto on the wing. He's going to be a bit more conservative because both coaches have been always saying, Nabi said on Monday, that it's about minimizing your mistakes. You put your soldiers out there who you trust. That's not going to make any mistakes. Look, we could all say Pirates are overwhelming favorites because they are kind of, if you know what I mean, the way the season have gone, the experience. But I mean, we said that about Sundowns in the semi-final at Loftus against Chiefs, and they put up a good performance. We can't really say that Chiefs have, been like terrible. They've just been like having schoolboy errors in some games where they lose it. So I mean, they could pitch up on the day at Mabida, have nothing to lose, throw everything at it, and hopefully we have a classic. You know what I mean? A game where both teams are going out. I doubt it will be like that, but we'll see.
Yeah, Sia, Amakosi, I think, have been hit by with a couple of injuries, which has raised questions about their preparation methods. So, how significant of a role can injuries play in a match like this? Like, are there any absentees from each side that might somehow affect the team's performance?
Yeah, absolutely. For example, for Chiefs, we were speaking to Inacio Miguel. He's also come back recovering from an injury. He was not playing, he didn't play or feature in the last Soweto derby. So he also, mentioned the significance, of bouncing back and just being there and supporting the team. And he said a very funny statement that he's told the medical team that there's no time for rehab. He just wants to go on the pitch and play. Yeah. That's it shows the importance of this game, and just that almost every player wants to feature. Given him some Msimango, he's also out injured for Chiefs, and injuries.
Totally as well.
Yeah, Rushwin Totally. So that too, injuries do play a part in that, because you've seen throughout the season, Chiefs have had an inconsistent lineup at the back. because of injuries. Against Marumo Kalans, we saw even Yusuf Mart being converted as a right back. So that tells you that injuries do play a part. So both coaches will need all their players. And we just hope to have a classic one, just like Lauren said.
Yeah, speaking of the players, which players from both sides do you guys think will be most influential in this final? Who are you looking out for? Let me start with you, Lauren.
Sure. I think for Pirates, you're always going to look at Mofokeng because he's the star boy and everybody looks at him to do something magical. But we've also seen someone like Nkota step up. We've seen Maswangani step up in the Soweto derby earlier this season and score Panenka in the 94th minute to win the derby. You know what I mean? So in big matches, obviously the big players step up. So I'm hoping that we're not saying, oh, it's a man of the match for the goalkeeper or the centre back. I want to see obviously an attacker, something exciting. For Chiefs, it's very difficult to look at it, but I think somebody who has that personality, somebody like Wandile Duba, he's always super confident. He's always saying outlandish, unfiltered things in the media. You know what I mean? So I think he's the type of guy that could potentially make a difference in the game. So that's the Mofokeng, Duba, ideally would be the ones that should be making a difference for each side.
Who are you looking out for?
On the Pirates side, like Lauren said, Rile, he's been one of those players for Orlando Pirates, and he's a type of player that understands moments. You might not see him throughout the game, but just one moment he can change the whole complexion of the game. So he's definitely one player to look out for. Dion Hoto, he's arguably one of the standout players throughout the season. Definitely a contender for player of the season. So he's also one of the players that you need to look out for. Very dangerous, defensively and offensively. He can do the job for you. And the middle of the park, like in football, they say it's won in the middle of the park. So Makehleni Makaula and them will be very crucial. And then for Kaizer Chiefs, Bruce Fuma. Goalkeepers, they also can decide matches. So I want to believe that with the attacking prowess that Orlando Pirates have, Bruce Fuma will have to do the job for Kaizer Chiefs. And Gaston Serino, he's won a lot of cups at Mamelodi Sundowns, and he's now at Chiefs. He has an opportunity to lift the trophy with the club, so his influence will also be important going to this one.
Okay, who are you looking out for? Give us a call on 011-883-0702. Which players from both sides do you think will be the most influential in this final? You can send us a WhatsApp as well on 072-702-1702. We're talking about this anticipated match between Pirates and Kaizer Chiefs. It's the Nedbank Cup final at Moses Mabhida Stadium this coming Saturday. So who will hold the Nedbank Cup trophy? Is Pirates going to retain it for the third time, 3 years in succession, or is it going to be Kaizer Chiefs that lifts up the cup following their disappointing season? I'm going to start with your calls and WhatsApps after the break. It's 23 after 11. Did you know it costs more to be a woman? Nedbank is on a mission to spotlight financial gender bias and want you to know that often women's products are more expensive than the same male equivalent. Armed with this knowledge, Nedbank wants to empower women financially and own their spending power. So join the conversation using the hashtag #GenderPriceGap. See money differently. Nedbank.
Betway's exclusive new games are taking the world by storm. Featuring massive Megaways jackpots. Take your shot on Cash and Riches, Wolf Blaze, Gallo Gold Brunos, and many more incredible experiences for you to choose from. You're guaranteed to find a new ultra fun favorite. Get way more only at Betway.
Betway is licensed by the Mpumalanga Economic Regulator. No persons under the age of 18 are permitted to gamble. NRGP counseling line 0800 006 008. All events are fixed odds betting games.
Whether you own a startup in Sandton or a spaza shop in Soweto, Standard Bank has the solutions to grow your business. For just R9 per month, our MyMoBiz business account gives you access to free online banking and a team of business experts. Our Simply Blue Pro card machine enables you to accept payments anytime, anywhere. Search Standard Bank MyMoBiz and Simply Blue to amplify the growth of your business today. Standard Bank is an authorized FSB and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
The Dialogue with Clement Manyathela.
It's not just another roundtable discussion.
Let's walk the talk on 702.
25 after 11 o'clock. Let's go straight to your calls and WhatsApps. Abiot, let's start with you. You're calling from False Loras. Good morning.
Hi, it's me.
Hey, Tara.
How's it?
Great. How are you?
Zimnyama lezito. Amatsha matebeli.
Zimnyama.
Zimnyama. Let me. I was saying to your producer, when I grew up, since from 1978 when I grew up until 1983 when we beat Chiefs, 1983 top 8 and Champs of Champs, that was Sales House, and from there. This other years, Chiefs has been beating us, and somewhere we never met them on the finals. And from there, we met them 1988 in the Bob 6. That was the inaugurated Bob 6, 1988. We played them a replay. We drew 1-1, and we go to the replay. We beat them 2-1. From there onwards, Chiefs has never beaten Pirates in a final. And any final, except the final of the charity and this black label, those are charity games. But the real finals, Clement, the Chiefs, they've never beaten us. So Pirates, every time when they play Chiefs in the final, in the cups, they make sure that what has happened to them prior, they rectify it. 1996, we beat them 4-1 at the last Bob's play. If my memory says me well. We beat them at FNB 4-1. And when we play Chiefs, to beat Chiefs, we have to have the midfielder like the catalyst, Talent Mbata. Those are people like that resembles the John Moetis, the Tumisa Ngobe, the Clifford Muliko. So I don't see Chiefs beating Pirates now, unless if the referee is going to award Chiefs a penalty.
Okay, Abiyad and False Loras. Let's go to some WhatsApps.
Good morning, Mr. Manyathela. Hamilton here in Springs. I'm a Pirates supporter. Saturday, Pirates will win 3-1. Pirates has got a tactical advantage. They are already in Durban. That's number one. Number two, it's a farewell game for Jose Rivero. So it's a must win. Number three, we will be writing a history. The only team that won Nedbank 3 times in a row. Pirates will win 3 for that reason. Hamilton here in Springs. Shapa pagapa. Shapa.
3-1. I don't know. I mean 2-1 probably. Do you guys agree that the Pirates has tactical advantage here?
Yeah, to a certain degree you do. You know,
they want to make the coach proud.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Jose has a solid team, you know, starting lineup and has a strong bench as well. We've seen how Pirates have matured throughout the years or during his tenure, you know. So yeah, Pirates, one could argue and say they do have that slight edge over Chiefs in that aspect.
Yeah. There's a question here, Lawrence, from a listener who says, given that Orlando Pirates' recent success with young players, particularly in their last match against Kaizer Chiefs, where they utilized 6 20-year-old players, do you think that Coach Jose's strategy of integrating the youth into the team will be the key to their victory in the Nedbank Cup final, or will Kaizer Chiefs' momentum from their semi-final win over Mamelodi Sundowns carry them to victory? But the central question here is about that utilization of the young players. How strategic and impactful do you think that can be?
Yeah, I think Coach Jose has driven home a very important message about youth, especially coming from within the structures, that they give you something different that nobody else can give you. You can sign a player from South America for 60 million, but they're not going to give you that heart, that kid, that grown up, that wants to be a Pirates player, that's dying to be in that first team space is going to give you. They're going to just give you that little extra. And I think obviously they have the quality. You know, Pirates doesn't have a development like from under 7. So they are literally recruiting the best talent around the country, nurturing them in the DDC structures. And when they're ready, in 6 to 12 months' time, they get into the first team. So they have the quality, they have the talent. It's just about molding them into that tactical setup. And Jose obviously comes from a development background, and he was the perfect person to do it. He knew what he was coming into. And the club also has a clear strategy for the future. We don't spend 60 million. We're going to develop from within and potentially maybe sell players abroad. We'll see what happens in the next window. So I think it does give them an edge that the players have a little bit more heart. And referring to the momentum, Chiefs haven't won 7 games in the league. So there's not really much momentum to go on, but just spirit for the semi-final win, just to show that the belief that they can do it. As much as people are saying that they're not the favorites, they can do it. You know what I mean?
They've got a point to prove here. All right, it's 11:31. We'll come back and continue this conversation with Lorenz and Siasanga. I will also continue taking your calls and your WhatsApp voice notes as well. If you do have questions for my guests or you've got inputs, please bring them through. I'll start with them after the headlines. Maki, good morning.
Thanks, Clement. Good morning. Police Minister Senzo Mchunu says the 3 constables from the Free State who lost their lives while on duty were young, full of potential and had so much more to offer to the service. Mchunu was speaking at the St. Peter's Anglican Church in Rocklands in Bloemfontein at the funeral service of one of the deceased officers, Boipelo Senoge. Senoge, Linda and Kamogetsu Base died after the vehicle they were travelling in plunged into the Hennops River in Centurion last month. In the courts, the asbestos corruption matter has been called off for the week after the first witness called in sick. Hawks lead investigator Benjamin Kalitz was set to take the stand again today for the 4th day of the trial within a trial. The trial within a trial kicked off this week where former Free State Premier Esma Gashule's ex-PA Moradi Cholota is challenging the court's jurisdiction to try her in the matter, claiming her extradition from the US was unlawful. And the US and the UK will announce a deal to reduce tariffs today. Last night, US President Donald Trump said there would be a big news conference to announce a major trade deal with a highly respected country. Downing Street says Keir Starmer will provide an update later today. Those are the headlines. This Eyewitness News and more at 12 o'clock or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Very good morning. We start in Sandton, seeing some stop-and-go traffic. Winnie Mandela Drive. This is in both directions between the N1 carriageway and Witkoppen Road. So that's also affecting the regions of Magaliesig and Noskot. So please do drive with care. There's also roadworks there in Bryanston, just getting off the tarmac. Winnie Mandela Drive, southbound to the heart of Bryanston. And then some slow-moving traffic in Midrand, N1 North. And this is heading towards the new road exit. So that's passing through Waterfall Estate. It's then going to be roadworks in the city of Ekurhuleni, N3, and this is southbound just after before the Gelden Hayes interchange. So that's after Goluli's M1 South, still queuing between Parktown and Braamfontein. And then once you're in Mayfair, Church Street is queuing bumper-to-bumper traffic between Main Reef Road and Albertina Sisulu Road. And in the nation's capital, traffic lights out at Soutpan and R566. That's Roslyn Road, Justice Mohammed and University Road in Brooklyn. And then traffic lights also out in Menlo Park, Atterbury and Linwood Road. Next traffic update in 30 minutes or as it happens.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Here's some news you might have missed. Gordon, a 44-year-old man, switched to Outsurance and now saves an unbelievable 2,794 Rand a month on his 2019 Ford Everest 2-litre automatic. Outsurance clients always get something out. You could too. Get a quote today and see how much they could save you on your car insurance. Make today the day you switch and save with Outsurance. Call 08600 60,000 or visit outsurance.co.za. You always get something out. A licensed insurer and FSP. T's and C's online.
Prepare for an exhilarating new Hollywood Bets exclusive. You could win big with our exciting new bingo range from Coletta Gaming. Turbocharge your betting experience and enjoy your bounty bonanza when you try Banana Bingo, Bingo Royale, and many more. Chase funky fortunes and get into the groove for a chance to max your numbers. Reap riveting rewards when you log in and play now. Hollywood Bets. It's more fun to bet with us. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bet supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counselling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
For all your home improvement needs, Leroy Merlin is the perfect destination to bring your inspiration to life. Get the Delinia Elaine Spring Neck Kitchen Mixer Tap that was 2899, now 2399. And the Spacio 5-tier metal shelf was 1425, now 999. Explore all our ranges at your nearest Leroy Merlin or shop online until 27 May. Leroy Merlin, opening in Centurion on 30 May. Make your home the best place to live. T's and C's apply.
The Dialogue with Clement Manyathela.
It's not just another roundtable discussion.
Let's walk the talk on 702.
24 minutes before 12 o'clock. Who will hold the Nedbank Cup trophy this weekend at Moses Mabhida Stadium? Is it Pirates? Is it Kaizer Chiefs? We've got Siasanga Monwadibe, who's a sports journalist at Sunday World, and Lorenz Kola, who's a football journalist at Diski Times. I'm taking your calls now on 011-883-0702. Let's start with Ntantla, who's calling us from Lyndhurst. Ntantla, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Clement.
Sure. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I'm fine, and you?
Sure.
Hey, Chapa Paris Chapa.
Sharpa.
You know that. You know that, my brother. You see this coach, he made me remind of Constantine Pap.
Yeah.
You remember when he's playing with the young boys, like all those Tugu Makada. And Tugu has proved himself now that he can produce. Just to check how many players he came on from the development to come to the first team. Then what you expecting? You expecting Kaizer Chiefs can do something? Nothing. You're taking the cup to the 3 years consecutively, then you know that the cup is living in Orlando. They must make another one Nedbank.
Ntantla in Lyndhurst. Thank you. Jabu, you are in Nigel. Hi.
Hi, Clement. How are you?
Sure, man. How are you?
And all the guys that are with you there.
Sure.
Man, Clement, you see, I'm a Pirates supporter. Full supporter of Pirates. But because, I have this liking of Chiefs, especially when it comes to Dr. Kumalo. And then it comes to Kaizer himself, the owner of the team. I'm in love with those guys. Though I'm a Pirate. Now, for the sake of the drought that they've been swimming in, man, Hashem, man, Clement, let's give them the trophy. Look, it will have to be a hard-fought game, of course. But if Pirates lose, we Buccaneers, me and you, Clement, let's be joyous, but let's be happy for Chiefs.
Be happy for them, yeah?
Pardon?
Yet we must be happy for them if they win this one.
We must be happy for them if they win. For a change.
Yeah. Okay, Jabu in Nigel. Here are some WhatsApp voice notes.
Morning, Clemmy. It's Albert from Joburg here. Clement, history will be made. As you have just said, that the last time these two big clubs met on the final was in 2006. So Kaizer Chiefs are going to make history tomorrow on Saturday, believe you me. They're doing very bad, but I think this is one for them. Amakosi, our Pelomo, yeah. Thanks, Clement.
Bonjour, Clement. Your team, your guests, and my fellow listeners. I don't want to say much, to be honest. I don't want to say much, but I see an upset. People are going to Durban thinking they already won. Chiefs has got nothing to lose. And I'll come back on Monday, live and direct on the radio station, and congratulate whoever that won, which I think it will be love and peace without any shadow of a doubt. Looking at the derby, Chiefs made schoolboy errors. Pirate capitalized on those errors. I'll come on Monday, as I've said. Lisibe, live and direct.
Good morning, Clement. It's a Pagania here. Without fear and favor, Pirates will take the cup. Players like Mfugengi, Mahopandowski, Dion Hoto, Sipo Chine, these new guys, Selepe from development, Bogazi, they will show up. Pirates is really hungry for cup. Since we were disappointed from CAF and League, we're going to take this cup. I'm 100% sure. Thanks a lot. Pagania in Soweto.
Thank you very much. Lorenz, what are some of the mistakes Chiefs has made over the years? I mean, this drought for a decade, what has been the result of that?
We have to look at where it started. Started when they refused or they didn't renew a contract with Stuart Baxter after they won their last trophy. The club wanted to pull in a different direction. They wanted to have more control of the first team squad than Baxter wanted to give, in terms of who stays, who goes, the signings and what have you. And then obviously perhaps they thought that the club is this big that it would never get to this point. They underestimated how big a task it is, especially when the chairman himself, kind of took a backseat of being hands-on with the day-to-day football activities. So I think they cut a lot of corners in terms of not looking at a long-term vision, but when they started to struggle, they tried to have these short-term fixes. Oh, let's sign Kama Billiard, let's sign Keegan Dolly, let's sign this one. We sign a big player and then everything will be back to normal, back to our glory days. Because every start of the season, that's what we're going back to our glory days. And they give that excitement with a host of new players, but they're forgetting that you can also build and develop like Pirates are doing from within, which they're obviously only achieving the last, let's say, 12 to 20 months. So, Chiefs players have a lot of good talent, a lot of development products that's really good. You see they won the DDC now as well. But it's just that transition from the development that they're not getting right, because obviously when you're not winning, there's a lot of pressure. And I think, having a lot of fans is obviously a big motivation. It's a big positive for any club, having a passionate fan base. But it can also be to the detriment, because it really crumbles. The players crumble under the pressure. We've seen them sign Bafana players over the past couple of seasons, and then these players just lose their confidence, because it's just being in that public eye and going on your social media and you're getting DMs.
And Chiefs fans don't play, hey? They'll come after you.
They're very demanding, and rightfully so, because they're the most supported club. So I think it's the pressure there, one, and then also living too much in the past. And I say that with the goalkeepers. I spoke to somebody at the club and they said the problem with the goalkeepers, they feel they have 3 very talented goalkeepers, because they asked me the question, which goalkeeper in the PSL can we sign that is going to be better than... And they say that the fans not letting go of Itumeleng Khune has been a big problem for the current crop of players, because they're always going to be compared to him. And then they have this doubts in their mind, are we good enough? Can we live up to that? So it's living in the past and taking shortcuts, I feel. But after this, 10 years, the penny has to drop.
At some point. Something has got to change.
Yeah.
Sia, your thoughts on that? Every time we talk about Chiefs and Pirates, or over the years when we've discussed the underperformance of the team, some Chiefs supporters often say, but the family also wants to be too much in control, and coaches come in and they're not really given all the control to be able to transform the team, and that's where some of the problem is. Where do you think the mistakes have been made with this team?
I think Lorenz, said a mouthful. He touched on almost everything that happened at the club. And I also want to emphasize that every club, every big club around the world goes through what Kaizer Chiefs is going through, this transitional period. In simple terms, I usually say to people, when you look at Kaizer Chiefs, compare their situation to Manchester United, what they're going through, wanting to cut corners by signing the big name players, thinking that, they will win something along the way. And that doesn't help. It's been evident, it's been 10 years now without them winning a trophy. So they are going through that period and they will bounce back. But the trick now is, how do they bounce back? They need to find that formula to bounce back and go back to glory days. And I wouldn't say them probably winning this competition will ultimately, mean that they're back to the glory days. Mm-hmm. However, it will obviously set the tone of them, going back to where they probably want to go back to. So it's that they are going through that period like any other big club in the world. Liverpool also went through that phase. Took them 30 years, if I'm not mistaken, to win a league title, and they've done it for the, I think, second time in like 5 years or so. So they are going through that period, and now the trick, or the most important part, is finding the formula on how to bounce back and go back to their glory days.
Yeah, Phil, you are in 4 ways. Good morning.
Good morning, Mthengisi.
Sure.
I believe that Kaizer Chiefs will win, and I hope that like you and Bongani, you'll hype this show. Like
I'm gonna take a day off, Phil, on Monday.
No. Let me tell you, because I've noticed that when Pirates beat Chiefs, you and Bongani will be hyping your show from the morning up until 12.
Abel, did I not congratulate Chiefs last week?
No,
I did.
I don't want you to. I don't want you to congratulate Chiefs. I want you to hype the situation.
Okay, what do you want me to do on Monday, Phil? If Chiefs wins, tell me whatever you want. I'll do it. What do you want me to do on air?
I want you to even add the Chiefs callers to call when you are open line. Get them on, tell us how it went, how they feel, all that.
Should I play you guys a song as well?
Oh yeah, please. Why not? Why not? Yes. And then secondly, now there's one point that I want to pass actually in terms of the Chiefs, the way they're doing things. I heard the guys in the studio, but I believe that Chiefs is the biggest problem right now. I think we need a bit of a psychological help, so to say, in terms of bridging the past and the present, because I think the current guys, crop of players, they are battling to sort of live up to that expectation. I think this is sort of like a mental thing. The other day I watched, there was a match whereby I think we lost 2-1. The two defenders, instead of going in, they went back and they scored, because they were onside. So that's the point of Chiefs. And the last point, Mthengisi, I think the current Orlando Pirates coach, he can be our national team coach. Given that he doesn't want to run like a club to club, and he wants to be to be with his wife, with his family up in Spain. So if indeed our current national team coach goes, why not actually consider him? I think he's done a very good work. If you look at the number of youngsters that he has promoted, the way they play football, Paris exciting, and I'm not a Paris fan, but I would love to watch Paris.
Yeah. What do you guys think about that? Jose, to the national team?
They actually asked him that after the calling All-Stars game, because he won it, playing with the young, obviously the mix of the TDC and the All-Stars and whatever. He kind of just brushed it off, but I also believe his ability to win cup finals and cup games shows you that on a match-to-match basis, he's second to none tactically. I wouldn't be against it. I mean, Dayugo is old, but he's laid a good foundation.
Yeah.
But I don't know how it would be received. Our public, loves the Pizzo, the idea of Pizzo, or Rulani. Yeah. We're very patriotic. But Bruce silenced a lot of people, so why not? I think why not give him a chance? But on that psychology thing, Chiefs have a psychologist.
Yeah.
Dr. Henning Gerrick, he was working with Cricket South Africa and the Springboks before. Maybe the fruits will happen in the future, but they do have a psychologist, sports psychologist.
Maybe in the coming years. Yeah, your thoughts?
About
Coach
Jose?
Yeah.
I actually never really thought about it. However, I mean, he has what it takes. He does, have what it takes to be our national team coach. He understands our football, our culture, our players, especially the young ones, So, and like Lorenz said, Hugo has laid that solid foundation, so a coach like Jose coming in, like I said, he understands the culture and these young stars. So, it would be something, interesting to see.
And he can go home. He can go home and come back.
Yeah. So, it would,
Okay.
Yeah.
It's 10 minutes before 12.
Remember when everyone thought NFTs were the future of modern art? When non-fungible was a buzzword used in boardrooms to justify buying pixels, and the metaverse was just months away, and that we'll all be living in our virtual mansions, admiring our digital paintings, only to realize they were just expensive JPEGs. When you can't trust a trend, trust a 30-year track record of outperforming benchmarks.
Coronation. Trust is earned. Coronation is an authorized FSP.
The World Union of Wholesale Markets 2025 conference is here from the 14th to the 16th of May at the Sandton Convention Center, with the bold theme Shaping the Future of Fresh Produce Through Sustainability, Innovation and Inclusivity. This landmark event will tackle the urgent challenges of our time, from ensuring food security and embracing digital transformation to creating inclusive, future-ready markets. This isn't just a conference, it's Africa's call to lead, to inspire and transform the future of fresh produce. Visit wuwm.org for more information.
In Lagos, a deal unravels. Johannesburg pivots. The world's a chessboard. Players wear tailored suits. You've watched. Fluent in ambition, but untrained in power's language. Henley's International MBA, Africa's sole international MBA qualification. Ranked, respected. We teach statecraft, not spreadsheets. The boardroom is no spectator sport. Regret, it's the sharpest blade. Apply now for April and July. Make your move.
The Dialogue with Clement Manyathela.
It's not just another roundtable discussion.
Let's walk the talk on 702.
8 minutes before 12 o'clock.
Clemmy, good morning, man. It's Flores here from the Western Cape. Clemmy, I'm a Chiefs fan, so from the Kaizer Chiefs fan, the pre should start. And also, Modi can have a big impact, but the pre needs to start. And then also on the pirate side, for me, is this Nkota guy. This guy is extremely dangerous. For me, he's more dangerous than Mofokeng. But my biggest concern is crowd control. With this overselling of tickets, please, 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 I hope this is not going to spoil the game. Have a good show. Bye-bye.
Good morning, Clement, and your guest. So the Pirates will win this cup. This coach of Pirates, tactically is very superior, that coach. And also is not afraid to make a lot of changes. He believes on the players. So Pirates has got a lot of upper hand. And then Kaizer Chiefs, yes, they will score, but I don't think Chiefs will win this Nedbank Cup because they don't have an outright striker. It's lacking a lot of upfront in Kaizer Chiefs. And Pavuma is also is questionable his goalkeeping. Thanks.
Hey, Clement, I agree with your guest there. The game on Saturday is going to be won and lost in the middle of the park. And that's where Pirates is very strong at. Remember Dondolo. Many teams have suffered the same thing, where Pirates is very strong, especially in the middle of the park. Dondolo Stars comes to mind. Sundowns with a dubious penalty that was an equalizer in the final, and they got to score the second goal and won 2-1. Pirates. There was an arm that was lifted up, which was supposed to in a certain semi-final. Chiefs were supposed to get a penalty, was not given. That's where Pirates is very strong, and the referee is involved. Is in the middle of the park. That's where Pirates is going to win the game. Eden from Marshalltown.
awuqhude maniki izindala zombini 3 Orlando Pirates 1 Kaizer Chiefs TLB imbokazi madoda ikhe ngaphambili ikhe ngemuva Clement, we're going to win this game is ours, going to win it 3-1. This is Lazola from Pretoria.
Clement, my last input, it's premature to say 3-1 in favor of Pirates. I'll play it safe. I'll wait for your prediction tomorrow, Friday. That's when you give us predictions. Let's see what you say tomorrow, Clement. But I don't see Kaizer Chiefs coming out of this one unscathed. And when I say unscathed, I mean a heavy score. Simon Sanchiran.
Yeah. I've gotten so many predictions right. People actually call me prophet because I get it right. But for some reason, I'm so scared to make a prediction about this one. But yeah, I'll make my proper prediction tomorrow. Do you guys ever think about that? I mean, I know that's unfair for you guys as sports journalists, but do you make predictions?
Yeah, they ask us a lot, especially for the big games.
Yeah. What do you think?
I think because there's a lot riding on it, I think it's going to be dragged out. I don't think it's going to be finished at 90 minutes.
Oh,
I
yeah?
think we're going to go to extra time, maybe even penalties, 1-1 after 90 minutes.
Sia, what do you think?
I have the same reaction as you. So I mean, it's a cup final. So it's a derby, full stadium. So like, I don't know. I usually don't predict these type of matches, but for some reason, I also see it going all the way to extra time and maybe being decided on penalties. Hence, I said Bruce Fuma will be, one of the players who will be key going into this one. So I see it ending maybe 0-0 full time, and we'll probably see who wins it.
We want to help the caller that was speaking earlier, and Clement must come in a Kaizer Chiefs with.
No ways. No ways. The best I'll do is play a nice Kaizer Chiefs song on Monday. Guys, thank you so much for coming through. Lorenz Kola, football journalist at Diski Times, and Siasanga Munwadibe, who's a sports journalist at the Sunday World. Thank you guys for making time for us.
No, thank you, Claire.
It's 3 minutes now before 12.
Time. When you're a kid, it moves slower than a sloth trying to get through airport security. There is just so much of it. Skip forward a few years to your 20s. Time is still your friend. It says have some balance. Go party and have fun. Then your 30s hit. And time suddenly steps on the accelerator like it's trying to catch a traffic light before it goes red. 40s. Now time is moving faster than your 10-year-old on a sugar high. 50. You're desperately trying to save as much as you can, but time is moving so fast. And all you can think is, where did all the time go? That's why after 50 years of investing, we've learned that time is the greatest gift of all. And the good news is, if you invest early, time gives you money. And then money gives you more time for some much-deserved you time. Now, isn't that a compelling enough reason to invest? Ellen Gray, long-term investing. Ellen Gray is an authorized FSP.
Hi, I'm Lewis Hamilton. Victory demands everything, but the journey is never solo. My team carves the way, data and innovation are my compass. This is how today's champions are made.
Drive your success and trade like a champion. CFI, a global leading broker now in South Africa. Access over 15,000 instruments, advanced trading tools, 24/7 support, and superior trading services. Visit cfi.trade today. CFI Financial is an authorized financial services provider.
CFI, empower yourself.
Coming up
on the Midday Report.
Jane Dutton is here to tell us what's coming up on the Midday Report. She's standing in for Mandy Winner. How are you doing, Jane?
Very well, thank you.
What's happening today?
Is it a case of much ado about nothing or a whole lot more? Julius Malema has been denied his UK visa. Tsidi Madia is going to speak to us about that. She thinks it's very sinister indeed. A lot of people are going to KZN on Saturday, regardless of not getting tickets. So we're going to be speaking to the police about what their expectations are. And also a whole lot of vultures have died in the Kruger National Park. They've poisoned. I mean, really is a new sinister development in the poaching of animals, is poisoning them, killing them, taking them, using their body parts. So we're going to find out what's happening there.
All right, that's the Midday Report coming up with Jane Dutton. Thank you for listening to the show. We're back tomorrow at 9 a.m. until 12. Have a beautiful day, my friends. Time for Eyewitness News, and this Eyewitness News is brought to you by Momentum. Advice is not a one-size-fits-all. Speak to a Momentum accredited financial advisor today. Advice meets your context. Momentum is part of Momentum Group Limited, an authorized financial services and registered credit provider. Bye-bye.
This is EWN.
Good afternoon, I'm Maki Malapo. We begin in the Free State, where Police Minister Senzo Mchunu says the 3 constables who lost their lives while on duty were young, full of potential, and had so much more to offer to the service. Mchunu was speaking at the St. Peter's Anglican Church in Rocklands and Bloemfontein at the funeral service of one of the deceased officers, Boipelo Senoge. Senoge, Tebakulu Linda, and Kamogetsu Base died after the vehicle they were travelling in plunged into the Hennops River in Centurion last month. The trio was reported missing several days before their bodies and the car they were travelling in were recovered from the water, ending a nationwide search last week. Senoge, Tebakulu Linda and Base were travelling to Polokwane. Mchunu says the 3 officers hadn't been with the police service for long, with Senoge stationed at the Community Service Centre of Park Road Police Station.
These 3 members of SAPS had not been in the service for a long time. They had only been in SAPS for about 2 years and started to work after training sometime last year, and they were placed at various points and deployed on specific fields of their work. Constable Linda, along with Constable Base, were part of the intelligence unit.
Mchunu says their immediate supervisors spoke highly of their dedication to the service.
They spoke